Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do We Know Them? Episode 246. And
it's finally here.
Wow.
We're here.
You guys, I promised you an eLIESabeth Teckenbrock deep dive. And
a
when
long
I tell
time
you,
ago,
yeah,
some will say
okay,
that promise was made.
Some things have come up. Literally, I feel like every time we have been about to do it, something happens. Like most recently, my power went out the night before. It was like, or no, my internet. They text us and we're like, by the way, your internet's going to be out for the next 12 hours. I'm like, what?
Yeah, the last 2 Thursdays at least we were planning on filming this, if not 3 Thursdays, but something always came up. And more so, I think it was just like a lot of information that we were like, well, how do we make it just an episode? Because we can't be here for 4 hours filming. So we're just like, how can we make it a comprehensive episode? And we're gonna do our best. It's impossible to fit everything into one. I haven't seen any of this also, by the way. I'm completely blind. Yeah. This was all Lily's research. And so I'm very interested to see. I have kept up here and there in the group chat also with like Chelsea and Sherrilyn, but I don't know. I'm pretty like removed from it. I only know that she's lying about a lot. That's it.
Yeah. Well, when I first sent you my Google Doc like weeks ago, she asked for it and I was like, I don't know if you want to see. And she opened it and she was like, you're right. I don't. Goodbye.
Yeah, it was a bit of a jump scare.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Also, I am being very brave in this episode and trying out my new microphone that Rode was so kind to send over. And Godspeed.
And
Hope
if it sounds good, then I'm gonna use it too. But I have to order.
Yeah,
something
and
else
also
first.
Hopefully there is audio. So that would be first.
If this
and then
is
second,
the
it would be
episode
that
that happens, then it's going to be like my Epstein thing. It's just never it's going to be
It'll just
hundreds
die.
of pages of research and it's just going to die. No, but genuinely, that is the only thing I think I can compare it to. Actually, there's one other thing that I can compare it to.
For Epstein, if you guys don't know, Lily has an Epstein docu-series that just never saw the light of day that she spent like a year working on.
Literally, it was my full-time job for over a year. But
and it just never paid her.
I was like, it just was for free.
Not very lucrative.
Yeah. I do want to clarify because a lot of people are like, Lily, just put it out, put it on the Patreon. Which, by the way,
the Epstein.
Go subscribe to our Patreon. But I want to clarify that I don't have the videos done. I have the series pretty produced and written, but it's like I have over 100 pages of a script. I only have like the first 15 minutes of the first episode done. There were going to be 10-hour-long episodes.
Well, I mean, I bet there be some people that want to see the 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, maybe. But I feel like people think that there's like an entire series that I'm just like sitting on. That's not the case.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's not quite that extensive, obviously, because that is like literally like every powerful person in the world is involved. But that's how I felt when I was looking into this, because it was just like, there's no end in sight. So I also do want to put a disclaimer that this is not going to be everything.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Because I will say, in the back of my head, I was kind of like, well, if we record for too long, we don't get to some stuff, like maybe we just do a part 2 in another episode. But I also kind of wanted to just like get it over with.
By the way, if you don't know who we're talking about today, we're talking about eLIESabeth Teckenbrock.
Yes. Do you want to do a little quick recap of our last episode?
Yeah. So our last episode was covering her, was it cupcakes or a birthday cake? I think it was cupcakes.
It was cupcakes, yeah.
And she was baking her own cupcakes. She went viral on TikTok. She was crying, saying that she had to make her own birthday cupcakes. And everyone was like, oh my God, that's really sad. But then the father of her children and ex-husband,
so it was, the caption on screen is, being a single mom is making her own birthday. She says birthday cake, but they are cupcakes.
Yeah, that's first red flag we ignored. You know, nitpicky, but she's not making a cake. She's making cupcakes, but...
is making your own birthday cake on your birthday so that your babies can feel happy they are singing to you. So it wasn't just like, I'm a single mom. It was like, I'm making these for my kids to be able to like celebrate with me.
Right.
And that is when her ex-husband comes out and says she doesn't even have custody.
So I've been sent this video a lot over the last few days. People asking my thoughts and my comments on it. And before anyone says, oh, you don't know her situation, or, you don't know what she's going through, well, I do, because I lived it. I'm her ex-husband, and right now I have full custody of our kids. This is our parent agreement. As you can see, I have all weekdays and weekends, time sharing with the kids, all at holiday academic breaks. And for her to get any rights back to the kids, these are the things that she needs to do. And yes, child support. She owes that. It's up to over $21,000. So she's a mother and doesn't pay child support. She was then arrested for check fraud, and during that hearing, it turned out that it was found that she stole almost $1 million from another guy. And also she faked cancer in the past. These are scans that she would send and post on her page before. So, to sum it up, this person, for people that follow her or giving her praise and telling her how strong and how, amazing she's doing, well, she's really not a full-time mom. She barely has her kids. She goes out all the time, and she doesn't even have a job. So she just really not someone that other single moms should really be looking towards as for inspiration or anything like that. There are a lot of, hardworking single moms out there, and a lot of respect to them. All I just want to say is she just isn't one of them. So hopefully everyone can see this video and know, who she really is.
Yeah, so good old Andrew Cormier. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about him in this episode.
Quite a bit.
He has a whole page dedicated to, I guess you could say, exposing Elizabeth.
More than one, actually.
Oh, interesting. Love that for him. But yeah, so he came out and was like, she doesn't have custody of the kids. She's insane, yada, yada, yada. And when we covered it, we ended up, even though at that point we did know she faked cancer to some extent.
So that was
we did know that was a thing.
His big things were that she does not have custody of her kids. She owes over $20,000 in child support. And she also faked cancer and was arrested for check fraud. I think those were like the main.
Somehow, at the end of the episode, we were more so on her side.
No,
and
absolutely.
I will admit,
I want to say now, we were wrong.
Yeah, we have to acknowledge when our intuition was way off, and we were way off in this scenario, to give her any grace, because she turns out to be quite the monster.
Well, so it's funny because I think in that episode, my recurring thought throughout was either she's just really good at acting, or, so here's the problem. And I still, honestly, I'm pretty sold that she's just everything she says is a lie at this point. But there's still a few things that I'm you can't know for sure. But I lean towards everything's a lie. That being said, I think what gave her more credibility, in addition to just seeming genuine, which is insane because everything she says is usually a lie.
She's not at all. Yeah. People like that scare me.
She is scary. The thing that really gave her credibility was how insane he seemed, because he has multiple TikTok accounts. At the time, we thought that he was behind this website that is eLIESabeth.Teckenbrock.info or something. It's basically chronicling all of her crimes. It's insane.
Oh my God, I remember that. Well, because his efforts are very intense. And I think that that's what threw us off. He very much seemed like a vindictive man. It just all fell into place to make it seem okay, she might have done some wrong stuff, but why is he so obsessed with her?
Well, and one of the key points was that she told everyone that he was a Scientologist.
Has created websites, TikToks, essentially everything since I left him. I think that is probably the Scientologist aspect of his life. If you go on the website, there's actually Scientologist links that he's added there. I don't know if anyone is familiar with that, but getting out of a Scientologist mindset in a relationship is not a good thing and not an easy thing. Andrew is extremely abusive and has always been extremely abusive.
And that all fit within the archetype of what Scientologists do when you try to leave a relationship. And it's
that's true.
Completely ruin their life. And Clearwater is a Scientologist capital of the world, basically. And that's where they live in Tampa, but that's nearby. So she says the word Scientologist, and everyone immediately is oh my God. It makes so much sense, because otherwise you look at this website, and the website also linked to some Scientology stuff. So you see the website, you see how obsessive he is. He has this entire account dedicated just to exposing her. And you're this is insane.
Right.
And honestly, I still think it is insane. I mean, honestly, it seems very much like she has just broken him. He was a successful optometrist.
I see him on live almost a lot.
Yeah. No, he goes live every day.
And he's not live just being hey guys, he's live talking about her, which I understand.
I get it, but it's
fucked
just
his life up.
Wild.
But it's a lot.
Yeah. It's really intense, constant all the time. And it's kind of I wonder when it's gonna stop, if ever.
Right.
What's his end game? Because I get that she has fucked over him and numerous other people.
For sure.
But at a certain point, what do you really do? But
I'm just thinking, are we going to play his clapping TikTok? Just for the girlies.
I
I
cracked
don't know.
myself up with the berries and cream reference.
Dude, that I had to replay it. I was like, why is he moving like
Oh my God. So basically what has happened since then and like how the tides have turned. He came out with a series, I want to say maybe a month ago it started coming out. There's now over 100 parts to it. Don't
I was
worry.
about to say, quite the series.
He's like, don't
More
worry, we
so
will
like
not
a
be watching
movie.
100 parts. We've had a lot of people lately that we're covering that, oh my God, bless their hearts, but Jesus Christ.
I know.
Tighten
I
it
know.
up. Like, oh my God. The few parts of his thing that we're going to watch, I have edited all of the, and pauses. Like there's
Bless
pauses
you.
in between each sentence.
That's
and
what
it's
I had
just
to do
like,
for Austin McBroom. It's no easy task.
it's so crazy because I'm like, you clearly have like organized this and like know what you're going to talk about. But it's like, he sounds like he's unsure each time
Some people aren't meant for the camera, which is
and that's
what I
also
think it happens
what
to a
has
lot of
hurt
people.
his whole thing because like people didn't believe him. And even I'll admit that I was not on board because half his stuff seemed so confusing and irrelevant to like anything. It was like, what are we talking about here? But
Right.
he did improve a little bit and he started from the beginning and now he has done an entire series called, I think he has a name for it even. Well, so his account is called Inventing Elizabeth and it's named after Inventing Anna, which is about Anna Delvey, who's a big con artist that conned like all of New York.
Oh yeah, the bio says, survived being married to a con artist. I experienced it, so you don't have to.
Yeah, so his whole thing, and like I'm pretty sure one of the bios that he used to have was trying to warn people so no one else gets their life ruined, which like that's not like a dramatic thing. Like again,
Yeah, he's not her only victim.
Well, no, he's not. But also like him alone, the stuff that she did financially to him, not even about all of the other stuff she's come out with like lately. It's like he lost his house. He lost his job. She literally ruined his life.
Isn't he a doctor?
He was an optometrist. He still is, I think, but I don't know how much he works. It seems
Or
like this is like
optometrists,
his-
not doctors?
No, they are.
No, they are.
Yeah, I'm,
Okay,
I'm just
very-
clarifying what
okay.
kind of doctor. Unraveled is what he's calling it. He has 9 seasons.
yeah.
We're currently up to 112.
Holy shit.
It never ends. They're all about 9-10 minutes long. When I first downloaded all of them, there was 65 of them, I think, and it was 5.5 hours worth of content. Given
Holy
he's probably
fuck. only
only speaking for like 3 of those hours.
Does he put receipts on the screen for a prolonged period of
So
time?
he does put receipts, and that's what pissed me off because I even like I couldn't. I was like, I'm not sitting through 5.5 hours. That's ridiculous. Because it was just like he takes so long to get to the point, or he repeats himself. I ran it through Premiere and had it do like a transcription, and then was like going through it that way. But he does show receipts on screen that are really good. So I've gotten some of those. I'm sure there's going to be stuff I miss, and there's also going to be scams and things that she did that I'm going to miss. But we'll try and go over some more briefly, and then there's a few that I really want to focus on. But first, let's go back in time and meet Nicole Teckenbrock.
Oh, right. I
Because-
forgot. Her name's not Elizabeth.
Well, it is, but her middle name is
Oh.
Nicole. And she has quite a few aliases that she has rotated between. But so in 2016, we have Nicole Teckenbrock, and I found an old blog of hers. That's a big thing, is she's always wanted to be like an influencer or like blogger in some capacity. So
That's a red flag.
yeah, even this, it's a blog that is titled Just a Modern Moody Mommy. Okay. Nicole here to tell you about my lifestyle as a mommy, tips and tricks for the everyday mommy life, and how I survived the mom life with Clorox wipes, coffee, snuggles, and wet baby kisses.
I can't. Do you think she's a mom? I'm not sure.
Some of you may already know me, but for those of you who don't, I'm a mother of 2 beautiful children, 2 fur babies, and a fiance to my amazing Christopher.
Christopher.
Yes.
Is that Andrew?
No.
Oh, different person.
There was
Got it.
there was a man before Christopher. He never got past fiance. They did randomly break up. We
God
don't
bless.
know why.
I would say he dodged a bullet, but he had 2 kids with her, so perhaps not.
Incorrect. He had 1 kid with her. She had another kid when she was 16.
Oh, shit. Seriously?
Mhm.
Okay, so she was a teen mom, then met Christopher, had another kid, then met Andrew. How many kids does she have total?
4. So she has 2
Oh,
daughters with
wow.
Andrew, but she had a son when she was 16, and then so he's like 13 now. And then the daughter she had in like May of 2016, I want to say. So I found her old Instagram, which she just like abandoned. It's like still up. I think it's so weird that she didn't like go and delete old accounts.
I feel like when you do a lot of shit like this, you live many lives, different identities and whatnot, you kind of forget low-key.
Literally, I think that's what it is, because there's like
Yeah.
numerous on different platforms. But anyway, here we have Princess Nicole T. And it's mommy of 2 beautiful children, 2 fur babies, and a fiance to my amazing Christopher, Tampa Bay area photographer. And she had a photography business that she was doing called Capturing Elegance by Elizabeth. And it was like portraits and stuff. And she launched that July of 2016. So basically, if you go through that Instagram, happy family. She seems like she's living her dreams. Pictures of the fiance all the time, pictures of them together as a family. They seem very happy. Out of nowhere, seemingly, it just like ends and they just are suddenly not together anymore. And there's actually, curiously, a paternity test that was ordered by him.
Oh boy.
In 2018. I think they broke up the end of like 2017. And then he did a paternity test to like make sure the kid was his, which makes me think she was cheating.
Either cheating or he found out she's a fucking pathological liar. Maybe she did some other stuff to him and he was like, okay, I don't know who you are.
Well,
And so
I mean,
don't even know if this
either
kid
way.
is yours.
Like he just didn't know if he was the dad. But so I thought it was interesting because that was filed March 19th, 2018. And then 3 months later, we have meet our office
Andrew.
manager, Elizabeth, at Coastal Eye Care, which is Andrew's optometry office.
Oh, fuck. So the way Andrew met her is because she was the office manager for his office?
I don't know what came first, chicken or the egg, if he like met her, gave her the job, or if she got the job and then they hooked up after that.
Dang.
But
okay.
Either way, very close proximity to when that paternity test was going on. And I feel like, yeah, it says, I don't know where I got this information, but I feel like I wasn't pulling it from random places. So she meets Andrew when she is still engaged to Chris. So it was like in July of 2017. Also, that was when the Facebook had like the picture of her, but she probably started working there far before that. I think they just like made the Facebook then. But one other thing about that time in her life, another name that she would use is her mom's maiden name, which is Weekly. So she actually has 2 LinkedIn accounts. There's Elizabeth Weekly, which like you don't go by like your mom's maiden name. Like that's weird. Why would you choose to not go?
Was that ever?
That was never her last name.
She was always Teckenbrock?
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. It doesn't have anything past working at another eye care place where it claims that she still works, but I don't think that's true. Then I looked more into like the Coastal Eye Care thing and I found an old, I don't know if it was like a Google review page or a Yelp page or something. And I thought it was interesting because it's someone leaving a review saying, I went to Coastal Eye Care to see Liz and have eyelash extensions done. She did an amazing job.
Usually they don't do eyelash extensions at an eye care place.
I thought that was so strange.
Here you can get your eye exam, your glasses, your contacts, and eyelash
full
extensions.
service eye care.
There's massages in the back.
In addition to that just being weird, like you wouldn't go to an optometrist and get your eyelashes done. That seems strange.
Yeah, strange.
And also, I'm like, I thought she was the office manager. And also, don't you need a license to do
certificate?
Yeah, but like some kind of training, like you need to be certified.
Like you can, a couple days class or something, if I remember correctly.
But that was the whole thing with even So Mink, because she didn't have any of those licenses either. And like you can look it up because people are like licensed and it's in like a database. And I didn't look it up, but like I'm pretty sure she's not licensed. And then I know that when I was listening to the eLIESabeth podcast that our friends Chelsea and Sherrilyn have come out with. And I'm going to put a teaser in here somewhere that gives you a little look at what to expect in like the entirety of their podcast. They're doing like a whole mini series separate from their normal podcast.
Yeah, they're interviewing people in Elizabeth's life that have been scammed by her, which is a really interesting aspect of it.
Because Chelsea's also from Tampa.
Right.
That is where Elizabeth is, and they know a lot of the same people. So
let's just say she's been looking so far into it that Elizabeth said she's going to get a restraining order against Chelsea. So she's been doing some work.
Don't hold your breath. In the first episode, they interview someone that talks about being friends with her in cosmetology school.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But that she like left early, like she dropped out because she had been lying to everyone in the class.
She told the whole cosmetology school that C, her oldest son's dad, was dead, like deceased. She never like went in detail how or anything. Maybe she did and I just don't remember, but she definitely told the whole school that. And she basically got caught up in that lie because myself and another girl went to a party and there was C's dad. And we told the whole school, like, no, we met him. And then Liz dropped out, like, literally 2 weeks after that because she realized that she fucked up. Like, she could not get out of that lie.
So the lying did start relatively early. And also before she lived in Florida, she lived in Indiana. And there's charges in Indiana as well. It was like a small claims court thing where she didn't pay. It was like a few $1,000s. So that's where the crime began. But then she moves to Florida, starts fresh. And should we just dive into the cancer?
That's a pretty big part of it, huh?
Yeah, I think that's like probably the most like shocking because it's so unbelievable. And the thing is we did know that happened and we saw a couple screenshots and stuff. I have gotten a ton more evidence to just give context to the extent in which she lied about cancer.
Right. Wouldn't it be fair to say we thought it was like a one-time quickie faking cancer, which is horrendous and super fucked. And we said it was.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just didn't seem like she faked it for years. Because didn't she fake it for years?
Yeah. What? Months at least.
Yikes.
And then 2 other times.
So yeah, that's diabolical. I think that faking cancer to any capacity is unforgivable.
Also, we were looking at receipts that time where it was like, it seemed like there was potentially more context that we were missing of like why she did it or like, I don't know. There was something that was like iffy. We just like
we didn't have a lot to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just kind of like, also I think we were
but
just
it doesn't
like,
matter.
Felt bad for
we
her
were wrong
because
about our opinion on her.
Totally wrong. But I think we were like kind of just like felt bad too. We just like didn't want to believe that part because it was like, that's really fucked up. But also, like, that doesn't mean she should be harassed and abused and, like, there's no perfect victim. Like, we're trying to rationalize why that wasn't really relevant. But I think it is very relevant because now that we have more context, it shows the kind of person she is. Because I do not know how you could possibly do any of the shit that she has done. Like, she lied to everyone in her life. And it wasn't just like, oh, I have cancer, but like I'm going through treatment. It's going to be. She says she has stage 4 cancer and that there's like a 10% survival rate. And she's pregnant at the time too, which I don't think we knew that aspect. One of the big things that we're going to be looking at in this episode for receipts is someone, we don't know who, I'm positive they're real. I don't think that this is like coming from just like random people that somehow like Photoshopped them, I guess. But also there's videos of like someone scrolling through it. But it's like an ex-roommate or also maybe Andrew as well. I think it might be like multiple people or this. It honestly doesn't matter. Basically, what we have obtained is lots of different screen recordings of her search history.
Oh yeah, you were sending me some of these. It's pretty bad.
It's actually insane. I mean, think about like if someone has access to everything you've ever Googled, like it's going to be pretty incriminating if you've done some incriminating things. I'm trying to go in chronological order, but there might be a few outliers here and there. I had one somewhere it started in like October. There was searches for like eye cancer scans and she didn't go with eye cancer, but I think she was potentially researching what she was going to pretend.
Didn't she lie about being an eye doctor?
Did she?
To somebody?
I don't know.
Yeah, or like she owned an optometry clinic or whatever.
Oh, that
like
probably. Yeah. I mean, literally, she lies about everything. So around December 16th is when she first announced that she had cancer. Like that was when she like told people. And then obviously she has to like maintain the facade that she has cancer. So some of these search things that we have are from like Christmas and the day after Christmas. Searched for cancer port. Viewed image from ihadcancer.com. Search for cancer
Shut the
port.
fuck up.
Search for what is a cancer port made of? Oh, yeah. And by the way, ihadcancer.com is a bunch of people sharing their stories about their cancer experiences.
Stop.
Yeah. Then we have what is a cancer port made of? By the way, cancer ports are like what like delivers the medicine. Yeah. Which we'll get to why it's relevant in a second. But then we have cancer port first day. Cancer port again. Then we have her looking at treatment for breast cancer during pregnancy. Then we have cancer port while pregnant. Then we have lung cancer in pregnant women. Then we have pregnant lung cancer lung cancer scans, Cancer Center, Clearwater, Florida, side effects of like cancer treatments.
Remind me how she got these or like how we're looking at these right now.
It's like an ex-roommate or something had access to her Gmail and you can look through all of your search history. So then you can see the person is searching cancer, and these are the results that are coming up.
Oh my God. What is the fucking, and I mean, I feel like we're going to run into that a million times in this episode. What is the thought process?
You have no idea. Like, when you see how involved this was, like, it's
How could
actually
someone do
mind-blowing.
this?
I don't know.
Because then, and also when you couple in all her scams, it's way beyond, like, you know, those people, there's that one Australian girl who faked cancer and like a million other things. And she even like lies about her age and stuff. But like she, from what I understand, hasn't scammed for money, or maybe she did with a GoFundMe. Not sure.
I think she
But
did.
usually it's like, do these people have Munchausen? Like, is it like something like that? But this is like, she seems to be a pathological liar who likes to gather attention and sympathy and stuff, but then also people's money, as I'm sure we're going to learn.
It's funny because she actually has a video where she says she used to be a pathological liar.
She's
like,
reformed?
Used to be.
How did she get cured?
Also, yeah, I was like, I
This
don't
is
know if
pretty
that's
severe.
something that like goes away also.
Listen, I have some pathological liars in my family, and it was like an issue growing up and stuff, but nothing like this. Like, they would lie about stupid shit and like all the time, but to lie about cancer, to lie to scam people, you're just evil.
Let's
you're
continue.
Not just a pathological liar.
And like, again, while she's pregnant. So she's trying to elicit like the most sympathy you could get.
That is disgusting.
Yeah. Here we have her. This is why she was searching cancer port, because she like makes her, like a fake one and then takes pictures with it. That looks like she's trying to pretend that she lost all of her hair or something. Spoiler alert.
That's
she
a
didn't.
screenshot. Didn't we see that in our video?
Yeah. I think that was one of the ones
Okay.
that was lurking, and it was lower quality, but yeah.
Oh my God, the cancer port isn't even in the right spot.
That
I don't
is-
think.
so exactly. So I don't know where it goes, but I'm pretty sure that
It's like
was a comment.
way more to the side. It's like she wanted it in the picture while she was wearing that outfit. So she put it in that spot.
So then we still have more things that's like, what would the white blood cell count be of a breast cancer patient? Which that is insane. Like, some of them it would be like, well, maybe, I mean, this isn't the case, but you could maybe be like, well, maybe she had cancer and she was just doing research about stuff. No.
Okay,
This is like
so
literally
there's no
she's
doubt
looking
that
for
she
the
did not have
information she
cancer.
needs to be able to lie about having cancer. And specifically, I'll show in a minute, but the link to the side effects of like chemo and treatments and stuff, if you click on that, because this is just what she searched for and like what she clicked out of Google. But like if she went to one of these sites and then clicked on something from that site, it wouldn't show up here. But from that page, she gets to a page that gives sample blood work results. And I have some comparisons because it's wild. But first, let's look at the GoFundMe that she started and the Facebook group.
Of course.
Because the Facebook group, I don't know when she launched the GoFundMe. I think it was like earlier on. The Facebook group was December 30th. And it's called Elisabeth's Lymphoma Journey. She decided on non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4.
Wow.
She also had a TikTok account that was called, it was like the Cormier Corner or something. But the hashtag they use is Cormier Strong. I don't know if it's Cormier or Cormier.
So throughout this time when she's faking cancer, she is pregnant with Andrew's child, which is his first child? Second child.
They have one daughter together, and she has 2 other kids that he's like acting like a stepdad to.
Right. So she's actively lying to him, right? He thinks she's going through treatment and has cancer while pregnant with his child.
Correct. And it's also important to note that this was during COVID. So that was
she
how
got
she
away
got
with a
away
lot of
with
the
a lot
doctor stuff.
Yes, exactly. And also, he claims that he did not have social media. He was like, I didn't think to look at the page because like, I figured it was just like, it wasn't gonna be anything else that I wasn't already being told, you know? And I think that's a little weird, but you can find out when people created TikTok accounts. If you like do like right click and inspect, like you look at like the website coding, there's like a part in the coding that says create time, and that's when the account was created.
Oh my God, you little detective.
I know. And I thought it was interesting though, because he says he didn't have social media. And I'm not trying to like accuse him of anything. I just think it's interesting. And I'm curious if, I don't know, if the date's wrong or if there's like, he had an account and he just didn't use it or what. But he created the account that is now Inventing Elisabeth in November of 2020, a month before she created the cancer story.
Wow, interesting. Okay. So, I mean, but also if he believed her to have cancer and he saw all of it, he may have seen nothing wrong with it.
Oh, yeah. Well, so, and he starts to get suspicious at certain points. But so I don't know if he was like aware of the GoFundMe, but they were also selling shirts.
I'm sorry, really quick. He is a doctor. How did he not know that port was
He's an
fake? It looked like
optometrist.
balled up gauze.
An eye doctor is not a like doctor.
Girl, I'm not a doctor and that shit looks fake as hell.
Well,
like, but you're living with her. You see her naked. You see her get in the shower.
But he didn't see, if he didn't have social media, he didn't see that picture.
But if you think your wife has cancer, then she's obviously going to need to be treated for it with a port, because if she's receiving chemo.
She wasn't receiving chemo because she was pregnant.
But then why'd she have a port? Isn't a port?
I don't know if it was not chemo, if there was different medicine. She had like weird answers for everything.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and again, I'm not trying to blame him at all. I'm trying to understand in general.
How would
like,
you not?
In my marriage, yeah, like you're going to see your partner naked. If they have a gauze, you're going to help change it. Like, I just feel like there's so many opportunities where she would have been exposed, you know, but maybe she wasn't. I don't know.
I think it's strange too. But to make money off of this, she created, because it says by Elizabeth Cormier, Elizabeth's Lymphoma Journey t-shirts that say Lymphoma Warrior, Hope, Faith, Cure. Hashtag Cormier, I don't know how you, do we think it's Cormier?
Cormier, I think.
Cormier Strong. And it's just $28.49 for a premium unisex tee.
Is it still on sale?
It is.
God, she's such a little rat.
I know. Luckily, not a ton of them were sold, but 29. And again, this is someone that is not an influencer. So those are like family members and friends that are buying these shirts to support them.
Yeah.
Then we have the GoFundMe, which ended up making, I think it was like a little under $5,000 before it got shut down.
Which again, that's a lot for someone who is not popular on the internet.
For
it's
just your
people in
family
her
and friends
town
to
probably
be donating. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you want to read the description?
Sure. It'd be my honor. Emergency fund for Cormier Strong. Please read this entire description before making your decision. Full transparency is available on Facebook. You can follow the entire journey.
So that's
What?
that's
Before
the
you make your
Facebook
decision
to donate. So basically they were like giving all of the, like there was the GoFundMe, but it was linking back to the Facebook to be like, that's where all the updates and everything are for like her condition.
Where will your donations be utilized? Unpaid medical bills, household bills, examples, mortgage, electric, everyday bills we all pay, home health care if needed. Elizabeth was diagnosed with B-cell NHL in early December of 2020. At the time, she was told it was projected to be stage 1 to 2, but further testing was needed. As devastating as that news can be, she was given even more devastating news. December 16th, 2020, it's stage 4. God, she's so fucking... Oh, God, she's the worst.
Yeah.
Stage 4B cell NHL that has infiltrated her lungs so bad that just the wording. Infiltrated her lungs so bad.
You're gonna die when you see... This isn't that bad, but a common theme throughout all this is her faking like being other people. And I don't know if she's just not an English major, but like,
oh my God,
the amount of typos and just like grammatical errors. But then also sometimes it seems like maybe she was like drunk or something when she's writing that. Like it's so weird, but it's like, I'll point them out when we get to it, but it's like from lawyers and like police officers and stuff. And it's like written in a way that I'm like, what the like, how did anyone read this and think this was legit?
So it infiltrated her lungs so bad that the team of doctors had discussions with her about being placed on the transplant list. Who is Elizabeth Cormier? I think that's a question everyone is still trying to answer.
Yep.
She is obviously a daughter, granddaughter, sister, cousin, aunt, niece, and so on. So on. More importantly, Elizabeth is, in all caps, a wife. A mother!
Exclamation mark.
What you don't know about her story, unless you read this far, is that she and her husband have 3 beautiful children and she is currently pregnant with their 4th.
And then it says, with her 4th child. Yes, you read that correctly. She is pregnant.
I hate her. I'm sorry. I just...
Yep.
That is
same.
She's so annoying.
So again, the Facebook group was made December 30th. So then January 1st starts off strong. We have search history where it's search for liver failure in cancer patients. Then we have her looking at chemotherapy side effects. Then we have her looking specifically at non-Hodgkin lymphoma, factors and prognosis. And then the next day, we have one of our first examples of this is a stranger because this is, she's always wanted to be an influencer. And I guess she might have gained a little, like she didn't have a lot of followers, but like it was getting some traction because she had cancer and people felt bad. And so it was going around TikTok, I guess. And this is a complete stranger that doesn't know her. They duetted her video and are like saying, wrap her and her family in your prayers, being like supportive. On the right, we have one of her videos, which was on the Cormier Corner, which does not exist anymore. And it's her saying, can we start a prayer chain? Pray I beat the 20% odds and make it through chemo. Today is day 3 since having my first round of chemotherapy. Oh, so I guess she was saying she was going through chemo.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all confusing.
Meanwhile, her port is like freaking balled up gauze and chewed bubble gum with tape on it. Like, it literally looks so janky. I cannot understand any of this.
So, and this is a video. She has captions that pop up on screen. She's not saying anything, but it says, I have kept one meal down since Tuesday.
Yeah.
As the days go on, the feeling/pain is getting worse. I'm doing breathing treatments for my lungs. I mostly just cry all day because of pain, being sick, and wondering how this is happening to me.
This is diabolical. Meanwhile, when she says she's going to the cancer center, she's just parked in the fucking Wendy's parking lot downing a Baconator. Like, I'm so confused how people exist.
This is
like this.
dark, but yeah, like it looks like her port is like up like on her like trap.
It changes. I'm so dead at the migration because
Like what?
the first time it was like down here in the center. Now it's up here by like her collarbone. It's gonna be like on her neck.
It's wild. Like, because I was like, oh, I won't focus that much on the cancer. Like, no, it's insane
It's bad.
when you look at how
Yeah.
bad it was.
And it's unforgivable. This alone, because now, you know, you see a lot of videos she'll post now where it's like, yeah, I've done a lot of bad things in my past, but I'm changed now.
Totally. That's what she
You
does.
don't
She
get to
minimizes
do
it
that.
and acts like,
No.
I already addressed the things that I've done wrong. And
Doesn't matter.
I took accountability. And it's like, actually, you haven't really, though.
No, she hasn't.
I have already talked about a lot of my things on my page. I was very direct at a lot of different times about all the things that I feel like I have done. I have actually spoken the allegations, like actually quite a few times. The allegations are not true. There are some truth to things that he has like spun into his own web, but I have spoke on it.
And I guess by address everything, just so you don't feel like you wasted your time on this video, I'm not actually addressing everything that you're wanting. If I get on the internet and say every single thing I've ever done wrong, that's never going to be the best idea for me and my kids. And I'm sorry, but that's where I mean I don't owe it to you. I am in no way, shape, or form blaming any of my actions on anyone else. Everything that I do is a direct reflection of me, how I choose to behave, what I have chosen to say and do and continue to do through my adult life. With that being said, the reality of my life is that I have always struggled with mental health. I have been in severely abusive relationships, and I went through some things in childhood that have had a direct impact on my mental health, my way of handling situations, my accountability issue. When I did not get help as a kid for mental health struggles, I should have at that point in time been able, I should have gotten help as a kid, but because I didn't, it continued into my adult life. I have always got on the internet and said I have made mistakes, and I have not been proud of the person that I have been and that I continue to struggle. But have I gone on and admitted all of the things? No, and I never will.
Did I do some fucked up shit? Yes, a bitch was crazy back then, actually. I was actually not normal. Like, I was wild and out when I left. I was going out, I was drinking, I was partying. The thing is, like, nobody can come to me and say, hey, you haven't owned up to the stuff you've done. Where? Because long before he came out at me on the internet, I have made 1,000 videos being like, oh, hey, I'm a single mom. I used to be like a wrecked up mess, but here, spend a day in a life with me now that I'm better, right? Like, that was before he outed me. So I don't understand, I was crazy and lost my mind too, yes. And during my divorce, this is what I had a psyche eval, and after I left my husband, and a year and a half later, I was literally like making sure that I was like actually okay, because I wasn't okay, right? Like, I knew I needed to be on medicine. I knew like I needed to do something to get my life in track. So I did go to a psychologist, and they put me on meds and all this stuff. I talked about like the fact that I was crazy. Like, he's not gonna say that I didn't do things wrong. Like, did I at the end of my marriage like cheat? Like, if you say that, absolutely. That guy was my way out. Like, ran straight out with him. No way. Like, and I wasn't using that guy actually to care for him, but I'm just saying, like, emotionally, that got me out. I have owned up to absolutely everything. Like, I'm not over here being like, wow, I was really a perfect angel. No, I was not. I don't even know who that girl was. I see me from back then and I'm like sick on the inside because I'm like, I was really shitty. Was I nice to people? No. Was I selfish? Yes. Did I make a ton of terrible decisions? Absolutely. Like, there's no denying that. Like, I was a hot mess.
I am very aware of the mistakes that I've made and the wrongdoings and the fact that I need to make amends in my own personal life. But I know there are other people out there struggling because I saw it firsthand. For 25 days, I saw I was not alone. And I think sharing my experience will help someone one day. And that's originally why I got on social media to begin with. I know that there are a lot of people saying that I'm a really awful person and I've done a lot of bad things. And I want to say that I am the only one that truly knows all the things I have done in life. And anything that you think I've done or the person bad that you think I am, I can assure you I've been way worse than even you could imagine. And I've done a lot more than what the internet even knows. And that's the truth. I have hurt a lot of people in my life. I am extremely a selfish person, and all of those things I know, and I need to change. Sometimes it's hard to say that. I think there are a lot of people that want me to get online and dissect every single thing that's been going on the internet. I'm not going to do that, and I'll never do it. So if you're here for that, don't stay, because I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to do it for a few reasons. One, because I don't personally think I owe every single person on the internet an explanation to everything. Secondly, there is a lot of truth to it, but also a lot of lies and a lot of exaggeration. Also, some of the people that are involved are not so great people themselves or have done some pretty shitty things themselves, and it's not my job to tell their story, and it's not my job to get online and dissect the truth versus the lies and what was really going on in situations. The end of the day, I made the mistakes that I did. I have got on this platform from the beginning and said I am a shitty person. I have done shitty things. I have a good heart, but I have done really fucked up things. I never misled anyone to say that I didn't.
At first she was like, I don't owe anyone anything. And now she's like, I've already addressed it. What I will say is that when you do shit like this, you carry that for the rest of your life. There is no like accountability. There's no anything. You did the unforgivable. Like, this is not, and again, there's no amount of faking cancer that is acceptable. But this level of like depravity is insane.
Before we go any further, we have a word from our sponsor, Manscaped.
Father's Day is right around the corner, and if you're still searching for the perfect gift for your dad or just a special man in your life, Manscaped has you covered.
And the best part is there's no waiting or shipping because you can actually just go and pick it up at CVS.
And the Lawnmower 3.0 Plus Refined Kit is actually exclusive to CVS, and it's got everything dad needs to stay fresh, clean, and confident.
The Lawnmower 3.0 Plus is waterproof for wet and dry use, and cleanup is easy. You just rinse it under running water. It also has a built-in LED spotlight to help tackle hard to reach areas with precision, eliminating missed spots.
It's got 2 adjustable combs that let you personalize the trim. The battery delivers up to 60 minutes of runtime and recharges quickly. And it has an updated skin-safe ceramic blade that is rounded for enhanced comfort and includes a built-in guard to minimize cuts.
And it doesn't stop there. The kit also includes the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing groin deodorant designed to keep him feeling fresh and dry all day.
Period.
It also has the Crop Soother, which is a soothing groin aftershave lotion infused with aloe, perfect for calming the skin after a close shave, and the Crop Reviver, which is a refreshing on-the-go toner spray that helps him stay cool and confident whenever he needs a quick touch-up.
I love when men take care of their crop, you know? So this Father's Day, skip the boring gifts and get dad something that he's actually going to use. Head over to your local CVS today and grab the Lawnmower 3.0 Plus Refined Kit and give dad the gift of top-notch grooming this Father's Day.
And thank you so much to Manscaped for sponsoring this episode. So here we start getting the updates for her
oh goody, how's she doing?
For her progress. This is showing, I think Andrew posted this, it was like her sending someone the update to then post in the Facebook group because like her cousin or someone was managing it for her. And I think her sister as well. So here's an update from January 6th where it says, update, we are going to try to describe this as best as possible for everyone to understand, posted by family. We requested Elizabeth's scans and blood work to be sent out to the Mayo Clinic for a second opinion. Their conclusion is the same. Yesterday, Elizabeth was administered cyclophosphamide, which is the second drug in the line of chemotherapy needed for Elizabeth's lymphoma.
She's like, I should know. I Googled it.
Literally. I didn't find the exact one she pulled that drug from, but I did get the next part because she goes, yesterday they were also able to take blood, get a urine sample, and administer an anti-nausea medication through her port.
Yeah.
This medication is called Emed. I think it's weird that they're giving like such detailed stuff too.
It's like giving copy paste.
It's giving also like too many details, and it's like, okay, you're lying because
Bro,
like you
for
wouldn't
real
do
though,
that.
like I can't even imagine like the amount of people who have died from what she's faking. I'm sure there's people who are watching who know people who've had it. It's just so fucking evil.
She literally says that like she has a 10% chance of if like the treatment will work, and otherwise it's like she's dying.
That's so fucking
Spoiler alert, it miraculously goes away.
Yeah, she's actually just chilling. She just went to Ultra Miami. So
God.
you know, she's a miracle.
But so here's the crazy part. So like I said, if you go to that one page that's in her search history, then you can click from that page and go into like another one. It's like on that page, it says like reading your blood test or something. So then it brings you to a page that says complete blood count. And her update had continued. We got the blood results this morning. CBC. Complete blood count. Then she has 3 things that she's giving you the information on, which if you go back to this webpage, it says the most common lab test you'll have done during treatment is called a complete blood count, or CBC, and it breaks it down into 3 types of blood cells: red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So miraculously, yes, that is what she has chosen to give the information on. And she says, white blood cell count, 620. It has to be over 1,000. I thought this was hilarious because she actually didn't use the right number here.
That's shocking.
Because it says when the ANC drops below 1,000, it's called neutropenia. I don't know. Sorry. Your doctor will watch your ANC closely because the risk of infection is much higher when the ANC is below 500. So she doesn't get like quite that low, but also that's not the number she's giving. The white blood cell count is supposed to be like 8,000, it says.
I'm so fucking dead.
So she gives the number that's supposed to be like, oh, it can't be below 1,000, but that's not the right number she's giving.
That's so embarrassing.
The website says that a low count increases the risk of infection, but a high count can be a sign that your body is fighting an infection, which is interesting because in her update, eLIESabeth says that she has an infection. So in reality, her number should be higher, not lower.
Wow, what a genius our girl is.
These ones are a little more on the nose. Hemoglobin was a 4, should be at least an 8. And usually, I guess the normal range is 12 to 18. So I don't know where she got 4 and 8, but she just took a risk and was like, ooh, hope that sounds good.
Wow.
But then the platelets say the risk of bleeding goes up when platelets level drop below 20,000. And she says her platelets are at 14,230, should be well above 20,000. Then she goes on to say the numbers they gave are the absolute lowest they should be. eLIESabeth's are lower than that. They told us eLIESabeth has a serious infection in her liver, and they have added eLIESabeth to the liver transplant list.
Yeah, just added her. Isn't that public? Can't you? Or no, I guess it's not, huh?
I don't know, but didn't she also say can you get a lung transplant? Is that?
Liver.
No, but she had also said,
oh, was she also on the transplant list?
No, she
lungs?
also said something about a lung transplant in an earlier post.
Yeah. She just needs all of them. While you're there, I mean, might as well replace the rest.
And literally people in her family and like her friends were seeing if they were matches to like donate to her.
No, stop. Yeah. Are you joking?
No, it's like, it is insane.
I'm so dead at the last sentence because it's like, she's been given antibiotics for now. Like it's so dramatic and stupid, and like she wants a reaction. That's why she's doing all of this. But like, what is the end goal?
And that's the thing. It's like, especially from what we've seen like in real time, she's like thrives off the attention. Like that is what she's looking for. And then also the money. So then she can get attention because she'll also spend money to get attention. This is an extremely scary time for our family and our friends. We're so appreciative of everyone who has, and I'm gonna guess it says donate, but here's a friend that has known her since, it says, my good friend since middle school got diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma. And it's like a little compilation of pictures. And it's like, if we could all take a minute and just pray, #Cormier strong. And it's like, pictures of them growing up together.
Dude, like, yeah, you can try to conceptualize it when you're hearing all of these things. She lied to her parents, her fucking grandparents, her husband. Like, I just can't wrap my head around it. It is like beyond diabolical.
Well, then here we get to January 7th. Do you want to read this email she sent to her kid's teacher?
Shut up. Oh my God. Good morning. I wanted to send you an email. Blank has been picked up early twice this week and he is missing today as well. Hopefully next week things should be back in order. I have recently been diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma and have started treatment last week, so we have been adjusting and family has been helping. Fuck you. Blank is aware, so I'm sure he's affected, but not showing it. If you have any work for him, could you send it to the front office this morning? My husband can grab it on the way to take him to my grandma's. I literally, like, you told your children this?
I hope not. Like, I hope that it's like,
No,
she definitely
there's no
did.
way she
yeah,
didn't.
no, because she was, yeah, for sure.
Dude, and especially like my daughter, she's 3 years old. And if I have a fucking Band-Aid on, she's like, what's that? Like, she wants to know what it is. She wants to know why my dog has 3 legs. Like, they ask so many questions.
Well, that's her son at this point. She had him in 2016. No, she had the second kid in 2016. So when
She's
was
a
she?
monster.
I can't even do the math. But like,
and so
he
wait,
was
so the
definitely old
teacher
enough
leaked
to,
this, or is this still the roommate in the Gmail account?
Either that or Andrew. Someone got into her Gmail account. And that's how we have a lot of emails throughout this entire thing. And then it ends with like, on the way to take him into my grandma's. Into my grandma's is weird already. That's another, like, the way she types and like writes things, it's like I've yet to see one that doesn't have some kind of weird mistake. They have been going there when the nurse comes for the first week. I just don't want them frightened. You?
Literally.
Like,
I
hope he's doing okay in class. Bitch.
Well, he's not in class.
Is he doing okay in life?
Is taking him out.
Jesus. Then we have another update. She says, today hit hard. They doubled my treatment. Weirdly, I had a huge burst of energy when I finished treatment. I was talkative, walking around, not feeling awful. Then all of a sudden it hit me. I became extremely weak. I had a fever. I can't keep down a single thing of food. Shaking, like even this. I can't keep down a single thing of food. Shaking, chills, and some serious body aches. That isn't, like, the sentence structure is not correct. My dad came down today. Don't worry. Her dad moved to Florida from Indiana, made his wife at the time, who they're not together anymore, made her give up her career. They used all their money and bought a house in Florida so they could, like, take care of her.
No, stop.
The stepmom has spoken out against her.
Moved from Florida, or moved to Indiana from Florida. I was engaged to her father. Everyone's like, oh, this is the true Cinderella story because like I'm coming out and talking about this. You guys don't know. I gave up my corporate $500 job for a lie. I emptied out my savings account to buy a house for a lie. So for those people out there saying, oh, you know, she's had a troubled past and she didn't mean it. You guys don't understand how deep this really goes, and I'm really trying to hold my tears back right now because you guys don't even know. I'm in Florida because of her lie, because I stood beside my man and I made sure that his daughter was taken care of. I was supposed to give her part of my liver. You guys have no idea how deep this rabbit hole goes, and so many people are talking about it and they don't know because they didn't live it. I did. I lived it every day for 3 years, guys.
Dude, how do you live with yourself? Actually, how do you live with yourself? How do you do that to your parents?
My grandma helped take care of me. I continue to be thankful for every person following my journey. Like, that alone, I'm like, you're insane.
Yeah, you're
following my journey. Like, how could you be enjoying this?
How do you just like at night just be like, okay, time to go to sleep after a long day of doing this shit?
Like, gotta make sure my port's attached. Like,
oh my god, it just falls off in the middle of the night.
And every person, like, and again, what is this sentence? This isn't a sentence. Like, and every person showing love and support, period. My family and I will be forever grateful. Heart. She posts later the same day. I've been sharing my life on TikTok for about a year. The comment that I pulled, this is from a TikTok. Oh, actually, this is from the Cormier Corner TikTok. I think it's her responding to a comment that says, this is lies. And she says some more stuff, but it's covered. I did giveaways, blah, blah, blah. And it says, I decided to share my health story on TikTok to let go of some of my anxiety and share with my followers. I have started being attacked in my comments for doing so. So I will no longer be sharing. I do not need the extra stress. Thank you to everyone for your kind words. And the ones that don't, I pray you never have to experience what I am.
Shut up. Oh my God, the audacity.
And then the caption is, removing myself from TikTok for a while. I can't deal with the stress or anxiety of negative comments during this time.
God, talk about foreshadowing. Isn't that what she does every 2 days
literally
now on TikTok?
Yes. Here's some other people that same day sharing the GoFundMe on Facebook. One of them is Andrew's cousin, apparently. My cousin's wife was recently diagnosed with stage 4 B-cell lymphoma. She has a long road ahead of her and is now needing a liver transplant. She is a beautiful, young, smart, strong, compassionate woman and also a soon-to-be mother of 4. If you're able to donate and share, it would help her and her family get through these difficult times.
God, her kids, I know we're blurring them, but they're so cute and
I know.
God, she's such a bitch.
This is another person posting it. They go, I don't know her at all, but I've been following her story since she found out and have felt compelled to help in some way. Here's her posting, update for today. I had a fever of 104, so the doctor told me it was urgent for me to come in. She's not in a hospital.
I'm so dead.
Like,
did she buy scrubs, you think?
Oh, I don't doubt it at all.
Or not scrubs, but you know, the hospital gowns.
Gown, yeah. Fever that high after treatment isn't normal, so they're checking to see what could be wrong. We'll keep everyone posted. Prayers for no more bad news.
Oh my God. But see, this is the type of thing. If she's not really in the hospital, which presumably she's not, or maybe she was admitted for something else and then she's just using it for that.
I don't think so.
Probably not at all.
If she had a hospital bed she could have been showing, she would have.
Oh, she would. That's so true. The cropping is very convenient. Yeah. But this is the type of shit that I'm just like, so Andrew never saw her in that medical gown? This was presumably in like their bed. He never saw the medical gown?
He was working.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, according to him, that's what it was. But
bro, just like one thing shifts in my house, and like both Nasim and I notice. Like it's just maybe he's not as attentive, or maybe like there weren't like their relationship was just I don't know.
It's weird.
Plenty of things that could have happened. Yeah, it's just interesting.
Here we have a screenshot from January 12th of someone named Chad donating $1,000 to the GoFundMe.
Oh my God.
We don't know who Chad is, but
Poor
someone
Chad
posted a screenshot because this is from her email, and it's like, Chad, file a police report. We have another update. She's not feeling well. Her team of doctors explained that her line of B-cell lymphoma is one that only 70,000 people have. It's extremely rare, and she has had it for 2 years without knowing. So unfortunately, it has spread to so many areas before we had the chance to catch it.
What is her end game? Because she's obviously not going to die.
I don't know, honestly.
You know what I mean? Like, there has to be an end, and I always wonder that with people like this.
There is search history at one point down the line. I think it's for something else unrelated, but where she is searching how to make fake death certificates.
I'm so dead. Oh my God.
So, it's extremely aggressive. Her treatment will also be extremely aggressive. It will be about 6 to 8 months of extensive treatment, and the treatment has about 10% chance of working.
Doesn't it seem just so much more ideal to just like live life and relax and go on vacations with your family? Like, this seems stressful to keep up a lie like this. Not that I care about her well-being at this point, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's just a lot. Why would anybody put themselves through this?
It's so much work. People. Like, I don't get it.
It's like a full-time job to keep up with a lie this big.
Sure. She is back on the liver transplant list, but is okay with waiting on that. It's a very small part of her liver, but she's still on the list.
I don't even think that would be true. Like, to get on the liver transplant list, like, you have to be dying.
Well, I think you can get on the list, but you're just like really far down. So
low
it's like not,
yeah.
Her lung is very damaged, and we will continue breathing treatment at home. And once we see how the treatment is going, they will think about a lung transplant. Today was a rough appointment. It pointed out yet again how serious this is. Yeah, it's fucking cancer. Well, it's not.
This is insane.
Here we have a text conversation, presumably on like January 13th or at least around there. And it's between her and Andrew. And she says, okay, are you inside? I need to tell my nurse to come get you. And he said, room 3. She said, yes, hold on. She won't open because checking me. And he says, they know you have cancer. Hello? And then she said, yes, but I signed a form, I guess. And they did also say I can have a cancer-free birth, a joyful birth, not to talk about it or stress about it. And he says, what the hell does that mean? She says, hold on. And he says, that's some bullshit. She says, give me a second. And then he says, you have cancer, but we are going to ignore it.
Oh my God. That's so funny. That's a really weird one that she tried to navigate. They said I could just,
it's because
just forget about it.
Don't talk about it because I don't have cancer.
Exactly.
Like, now she actually is in the hospital.
You have cancer, they're gonna do
things differently.
They're gonna monitor you way more heavily.
Exactly.
That's so funny. His answer is really funny.
I know.
What the hell does that mean?
So then there's some comments on a post where she's saying that she went in for a C-section, but was actually in starting labor. So they're giving her the opportunity to have a natural birth. And everyone's like, oh my God, good luck. Blah, blah. Then January 16th, this is the friend from middle school that already posted that TikTok, and this is a comment on the TikTok. Someone asks, any update on how she's doing? I follow her here on Instagram. She has been on my mind so much. And the friend says, she has a Facebook group you can join to follow along her journey. She's still doing chemo and is taking the little bit of energy she has to spend with her kids and husband. They changed treatment to help with her liver infection because she was allergic to the medicine in the chemo she was doing. So it's like, it's such involved lies that like, it's insane. Here, we have a clip of her being in pain.
Hey guys, I just wanted to get on and do an update myself. I have been feeling really sick since I woke up. I woke up with a temperature of 101.9, I think, and then it's now at like 103. So right now I'm just waiting on a call back from my doctor on what they want me to do. I'm getting to the point right now where like I have to have help walk into the bathroom, or like I'm gonna go take a shower, and I know I can't do that myself right now. I'm too weak. And just the stress with everything else in my life surrounding this, and
You mean the fake cancer you gave yourself?
sick and everything that comes along with it. I'm just overwhelmed. I don't know how anyone does this, but thank you to everyone who
You actually don't have to
reached
do this at
out
all.
and said prayers for me, and hopefully this fight with lymphoma ends in a good way.
You know what it's giving? It's definitely giving she just had a random cold.
Yep.
And she was like, yes,
Yep.
I could feel myself being unwell.
I mean, 103 fever is like really high.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Then we have some more search history. We have January 17th, palliative care in cancer, and then she started to type it and then hit enter too soon. Then we have January 18th, leukemia hoax. Is it illegal to fake cancer?
Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
What happens
Oh
if
my
someone
God.
lies about cancer? Moffitt Cancer Center, that comes into play later. Psychology Today, the human equation, cancer fraud, people who fake illness scam.
Oh, wow, this is bad.
Cancer Research UK, help, I think my best friend is faking cancer. And then last
Girl,
one is,
what?
can someone get in trouble for lying about cancer?
Well, I think because she probably saw that the end was near, that she couldn't keep this up forever, which is why I always go to what the fuck is the end game? Because it's like, you know, when you like lied about being sick so your parents would come pick you up?
Yeah.
You know? And then you had to like low key kind of act sick. But even then, I would give it up and my mom would be like, okay, so you lied, you little bitch. Because I literally just couldn't do it. I'm not going to be sitting there acting like I have a fever. I want to have fun.
Yeah.
Like I want to go and do things.
Yeah. I don't understand what the motive was.
Yeah, because she would literally have to pretend she's sick all the time. Like literally feeling ill.
Yeah. So here is January 20th. So like 2 days after she was just searching those things. Apparently there was a police report that someone filed where they were saying that she committed fraud. And she forwards this email to Andrew at one point. And one of her things is that she uses emails that she like already has. And then she just like forwards them to herself and then changes the body or like the date. So it's like, if it looks like it's an official email from someone, she'll use the same format and then just like changes
my
it to
God.
fit whatever she wants to do. And I don't know 100% that that's what she did here, but there's some typos. So feels like it's her.
tracks.
This is someone, and he blocked out the email addresses, but it's follow-up. Mrs. Cormier, the email follow-up you requested, but it's your requested, regarding the police report filed against you for commuting fraud, not committing, commuting.
Oh, period.
For you commuting fraud for having cancer. I'm sorry to have had to dig into this and cause you any unnecessary stress, and it pains me to see a mother going through this. We were able to get in touch with your doctor's facility, doctors should have a parentheses, and confirm your medical conditions. Thank you for your thank you for your corporation, not cooperation, so that this didn't drag out. I will mark this case as closed.
Court adjourned.
Literally, I'm like, oh, wow, this is how you think that a police officer or a detective would be responding to you? As I said, no comma. No punctuation ever. As I said, I cannot confirm who put in this anonymous tip. For that, I apologize. I did try to research it as I said I would. Please let us know if there is anything else we can do for you, and I will pray for you. Also, I am not sure if it is Teckenbrock legally or Cormier, but let me know so I can finish up the report. Detective
This is like
Macer,
somebody in a trench
period.
coat pretending to like, this is insane.
And then it also says, this email originated from outside the city of Clearwater. Do not click on any links or open attachments unless you recognize the sender. But like, he should be in Clearwater because that's where the police would be.
Wow, this is bad.
Yeah. So then also there was a search that same day where it's reporting fraud or abuse. Like she looked at where you do that on the American Cancer Society website. January 8th, she said she was like not posting anymore on TikTok. Now, January 21st is when the group is like paused. So it's like there's no more updates after this. And the sister posts, so Liz has decided to take a break from social media. She had a healthy baby yesterday. So she had him on the 20th. The same day that the detective reached out to clear her. Liz is doing amazing. She will post an update herself with more information within a couple days. Thank you guys for checking on her and your support. So fast forward to February 17th. We have her looking at someone else's GoFundMe journey. Then we have her looking at diagnosing cancer, your complete blood work thing. Then we have improving cancer blood work example.
Oh, so she started to turn it
So
around.
I guess her plan was, and then the next one is that, but a typo. So she was like gonna say that the treatment was working.
Period.
But it seems like that was one option, and she decided, nope, I haven't gotten enough attention yet, because then we have that same friend from middle school responding to a comment of someone asking how she's doing because she deleted her accounts. The friend says, she's doing okay for right now, but the cancer spread to her brain and spine.
Oh, God.
It's like, what do you mean?
Usually when that happens and it metastasizes to that point, it's a death sentence. Like, there is no fixing it.
Get ready. So that was March 17th. So a month after she was searching for like improving stuff.
Yeah, when's her miraculous recovery? I know it's coming.
Then we have May 11th. That same friend responds and says that she has surgery June 10th to have tumors removed.
And let me guess, they get them all.
We don't ever really know.
Well, because there was never a surgery. But
yes,
yeah, period.
but interesting is that this is a comment thread on TikTok. And so that was on May 11th. But then the friend responds later on, June 7th, 2024, and says, no, I have proof she lied.
Oh my God.
So here is that same friend on Facebook on August 24th, 2022. Do you want to read that? It's after she found out that Elizabeth's full of shit.
Oh God. It says, everyone buckle up. I wasn't going to post anything and just mind my own business, but I'm literally sick to my stomach. I've known Elizabeth since 8th grade. Back in 2020, she said she had stage 4 lymphoma cancer, had a GoFundMe, people donated money, stuff off Amazon wishlist, food, bought shirts to support, everything. Had medical records and all for people to believe. Well, people kept saying she was lying and she deleted everything. Well, I still talked to her, would ask how she's doing, blah, blah, blah. She would tell me different stuff each time. I have all the proof. She later told me it spread to her brain and spine. I mean, I know miracles happen, so fast forward to today. She's living her best life. She told me back in September she beat stage 4 cancer and rang her remission bells in October of last year, which is usually something people take video of, by the way.
Yeah, especially someone that loves to post on social media.
She randomly got divorced and then now is living her best life. She lied to a bunch of people and stole money, my family included. What makes the whole thing even more sickening is her own family was in on it. I can't wrap my head around that someone would do this. And wait, is she saying that like
we don't
they
know.
were also scammed?
We don't know. And the sister has responded to that and said, like, how dare you? Like, we didn't know either. Blah, blah.
But according to everyone, nobody was in on it except for Elizabeth, right?
I mean, not really something I feel like people would be forthcoming about. So like maybe they were. As far as we know, no one else was involved.
Yeah. But anyway, the girl ends up by saying, I was going to stay quiet, but I can't. Karma will come back, share. She has a TikTok and Instagram, and then shares the TikTok and Instagram for people to go see. And this is someone that you were showing like for months and months, was supportive, keeping people updated, and really cared about it.
Her middle school best friend.
That is so fucking crazy.
Then we have someone else repost it and say, I read this and find out everything I thought was true was actually true. So many people donated, so many bought shirts to support, including me and my mom, just to find out we got scammed. Karma will come around, and now everyone knows what you did, Elizabeth. I hope it was worth it, because this will definitely get taken higher up for sure. Good luck with a four-leaf clover.
Okay.
She's had so many different social media accounts. It was healthy girl habits at this point. And this is where the friend says, I've known her since I was 13, and yes, I have screenshots of proof. Yeah, so she basically responds to anyone that left comments on that post being like, yeah, she lied. I've seen more than one clip of her addressing the cancer. Not really, though. She like always is kind of like acting like she already did. But here's one.
But I did have lymphoma, so I'll leave it at that. And so I don't know why. No, I didn't say. I did not have stage 4. I've already cleared that whole department up, actually, on many other lives. I was just honest about that.
She says she had lymphoma. It just wasn't stage 4.
Yeah. And that port is
she
real.
Still can't admit that it's fake. Like, that's insane. That was recent. That was August 31st, 2024.
Wow.
She's
insane.
Fucking awful.
My guess is that you're saying, can you address the whole cancer thing with your quotes because the words didn't come up and that's a blocked list. And I've already addressed it. I'm not addressing it anymore. And I don't mean that rudely, so sorry. I'm just not gonna keep doing the same things over and over just because people come in late. No, that's why I said, Emily, I wasn't like coming for you in any way. It's just I've already addressed it. I had stage 1. It was exaggerated on the internet for sure. That was a mistake of mine that I used to get out of my marriage. I've already talked about that, but I did have it. So that's all I've said, and that's really all I'm ever gonna say about it for now.
And I know there's so many people that comment on her stuff where it's like, she made mistakes. There are also people, it's like, we all make mistakes. And it's like, we don't all fake cancer. And especially like that.
Yeah, she didn't just do it because
She didn't just like tell a few people she had cancer.
Or like she had a troubled childhood. And I don't even fucking know a justifiable reason, but I'm just saying. She did it so intentionally that it literally cannot be argued that it was a mistake. That was not a mistake. It was a choice. And it was the absolute wrong one.
Do you want to see how Andrew found out?
Oh, God, yeah.
She told me that she needed to have a procedure done. There was like fluid on her spine, so she needed to have a procedure done at Tampa General. So the whole day that she had this procedure, it was really weird. Like, she was like, yeah, you're going to go play golf while I have this procedure. And I was just like, what? Like, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But she was adamant about it. So I remember she actually grabbed my golf clubs, and it was a very bizarre situation. She actually like snuck them through the backyard to the truck because she didn't want her grandparents to see that I was going to be golfing, instead of going to the procedure with her, which I thought was odd too, because I didn't really want to golf. I would have rather been with her for this procedure. So we're driving Tampa General, and when we got to the parking area and I basically was like, I'm going to park and get out, this very much reminded me of the time we were in Indiana and she had this like panic attack and would not drive back to Florida with me. So we're in this, parking area. She got like angry with me, furious, mad, essentially being like, you will not step out of this car on anything. You are to drive away. It was very bizarre. But about to have a procedure, what are you supposed to do? I dropped her and went to a golf course. Finally start playing a few holes, and then she gives me a call and she says that she's done. I said, okay, do you want me to come pick you up? She says, no, I'm gonna Uber to you. She Ubers to me. And I was trying to see if she had it, because she had a procedure done on her neck and spine area. I was looking for like bandages and, any type of, sign or situation that she had this, like a procedure done. When she got there, she met me out on the golf course and she was just acting very weird. To me, she acted more drunk than anything else, in my opinion. She just said it was because of the anesthesia that she was under, and she was just kind of loopy, and it was just very bizarre. But I wrapped up golf game pretty shortly thereafter because I just feel like she needed to be home and resting. So, we went back home. Because of how odd this situation was, I decided to call the place that she was going to. Next day, I decided to call to try and see if she is a patient there. So I started calling the facility that sent her out for this procedure, see if she's a patient. I said who I was. I said that, my wife, I said her first and last name and date of birth, gets treatment at your facility. And I just want to know what antibiotics she should be on because she just had a procedure. Can you look her up? They looked her up. They could not find her. I said, okay, maybe it's under this last name, At this point, I didn't know if she legally changed her name or not. When we got married, I gave her maiden name. Nothing. I thought on an off chance, maybe she used her mom's maiden name because she goes by that sometimes. So I used all these different name combinations, and they said they had no record of her whatsoever. I was like, that's weird, okay. And so I called Tampa General next. I said my wife had a procedure.
That's the kind of weird pattern. Like, she just didn't tell him stuff?
No, when you fill out, especially in Florida, that's where I filled out my marriage certificate. Like, you choose when you are filing the marriage certificate, which you both have to be present for, whether you're going to change your last name. Obviously, you could do it after the fact, but he would know if she had done it when they got married.
So maybe she just said she was going to do it later and then just never did.
Maybe that, I guess that would make more sense. But also then you start getting mail to your house. I don't know. There's so many things. I'm like, Andrew, why didn't you know that?
For sure.
And I'm not he's a victim of her for sure. But
yeah, no, he just seems kind of
aloof,
really,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Mom's maiden name because she goes by that sometimes. So I used all these different name combinations, and they said they had no record of her whatsoever. I was like, that's weird, okay. And so I called Tampa General next. I said my wife had a procedure there yesterday. I want to get some information, same thing. And I gave them date of birth, first, last name, all the different combinations, and they say no one of that name had a procedure here yesterday. I said, okay, thank you very much. Up until this point, I've kind of have always questioned it, as you've seen in my previous videos, between the doctors, the medications. I had no reason to believe that she wasn't having treatments done. After speaking with the facilities, it really got me thinking, about some emails that she sent me previously. The next day I start to really dig in, doing research through my emails, see what she sent me in the past for different places. But this is an email that she sent me, and I went through it and I looked at it a lot closer now. So you can see this was when she was pregnant. This was her appointment for her OB/GYN confirmation. What she did is she actually forwarded this email to herself and started changing it. So you can see it said up there the 16th, and now she changed the date to the 16th instead of the 22nd. So she actually changed the date. She forwarded this email. So she changed who this email was from. Instead of it being from the baby appointments, she now changed it from a cancer appointment. Now it was Florida cancer specialist. And the subject line, and down below, she changed the body. So it was no longer about an OB appointment. She changed the body of this email to start talking about cancer results at her request. Basically, at her request, if they could not get a hold of her, they would do this over email.
What she tried to paint as happening is that they couldn't get on the phone, so they emailed her that she had stage 4.
Got it. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
Nope,
No.
doesn't exist.
Absolutely not. They go, in conclusion to your blood work and biopsy. What do you mean? That's not how you would say that. Again, weird language. As well as the minor scan we did, period. These are not real sentences. We will be moving you into the stage 4 category, period. Which obviously means this is more serious than we thought, as well as will mean treatment will be tough. But as I discussed with you in the office, we will do everything in our power and you will do great. You have great statistics being young and having no other health conditions. I would like you to give me a call as soon as you can to discuss. Thank you, period. And I look forward to hearing from you. Do you see what I mean about, like, they're all worded so weird and wrong. And it's like, who wrote this? Elisabeth did.
Yeah. But why was she sending these to him? Like, she wanted to send him proof because he was feeling skeptical?
Yeah. Or, like, maybe even unwarned, like, hey, look it, just to, like, make sure he still believed it. She also used a pediatric appointment that she had for one of her kids and changed it to be something else. And it has the Moffitt Cancer Center that she had been searching.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where the proof of this is, but she also, you're gonna freak out. She also lied that her daughter had cancer at one point when she was a baby.
Oh my God. What the fuck? Why?
And did a GoFundMe for that too. And I don't think that one was nearly as like
involved and
drawn out involved as this, but
still, like, what the fuck?
So basically those emails were like how he finally was like, oh shit, she's been making this whole thing up. But then we also have the text that we did have last episode. And it's her saying, I started this out by lying about Lauren, which was never to hurt you, but to get the situation to go away. Lauren, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows differently, but she also has pretended to be a lawyer and communicated with Andrew over this like entire separate issue.
Who is Lauren?
This fake lawyer that she was pretending to be.
Oh, Lauren is not a real person?
No.
Oh. So when she says she lied about Lauren, she means like that is not a human being?
That Lauren exists, yeah.
Oh, God.
And he has receipts that show that she was paying for a domain for an email address for like a fake law firm.
Jesus.
Like, it was like Hunter Law Group.
Oh, I
want to
see those cease and desist. You know, they were good.
You know, they were worded probably like Janet. She says, I had this constant need to please and it never actually made a difference. I ruined everything and made everything worse. I ruined the chances of you going after her. So maybe that isn't the lawyer person, but there is a fake Lauren lawyer. I ruined the chances of you going after her. I don't know what that means. For nothing. And I was never trying to hurt you. I don't know why I did it. I thought I was helping, and that is crazy now. It got so bad that you hated me daily, which was my fault. I lied about having cancer, and for some reason I thought something was wrong with me. And that's what we were like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It just seemed weird. But now we know that she full on fucking lied about cancer, stage 4.
Yeah,
just
jumps
the most
back.
Theatrical thing ever.
You're gonna send this text and then in August of fucking 2024 be like, oh no, I had lymphoma. Just not stage 4.
Right? It wasn't a way out or an excuse or anything, but I'm confronting that.
Are you?
When we moved to Clearwater House, I thought it was our chance to restart. I loved you so much, but I had already done too many things wrong. You already hated every single part of me.
Yeah, no shit.
Also, weird context given she now claims that he was like violently abusive and like the worst person to ever exist.
Well, that was one of the reasons we had sympathy for her, because she did claim that she was like terrified of him and that he had constantly not only financially abused her, but like emotionally and physically. So like we were like, okay, this man seems obsessed with her. And regardless of anything she's done, she doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves an abusive partner. But it turns out
we're going to go
not.
to the abuse next. Real quick, last thing about the cancer. May 28th, 2024, she received an email from GoFundMe. And they said, "Thank you for choosing GoFundMe. We have received questions regarding your fundraiser and are reaching out to gather more information. All future bank transfers have been suspended for the duration of the review. To help us dismiss any reports, please reply to this email clarifying the following: your connection to the intended recipient of the fundraiser, the expenses you are personally responsible for, and when they will be paid, if not already. Upload relevant documents like invoices, receipts, blah, 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 blah. If you're not directly responsible for the expenses, please send the full name and address of whomever is, and we can reach out to them for authorization if needed." Basically, they're saying, hey, we got a report and this is the email address that set up the account.
Yeah.
So give us the information. Where is the money? This is just a random search that came up from like a year earlier. It was October 19th, 2023. She searches, are scammers intelligent people or are they just evil? Are scam artists smart?
no, not her thinking she's Leonardo DiCaprio and Catch Me If You Can. Like, girl, you're not
Genuinely,
that kind of
though.
scam artist. Okay.
Yeah. Then she responds, just says, "What is this?" And they respond and go, "Hello, this is Richard with the Trust and Safety team at GoFundMe. I apologize for any confusion, but we reached out regarding this fundraiser, Elizabeth's lymphoma journey. We have received questions regarding the fundraiser, blah, blah. Give us all the information we just asked for." And she goes, "This fund was creating, not by me, over 4 years ago, in which 4 years ago, I emailed and said that to you guys that I don't want any money from this and please cancel this. So please look back for that email."
Thank you for that very specific instruction, Elizabeth. That is super helpful, I'm sure.
And then they go, "Hello, can you please clarify who we're speaking with? Our records indicate that this email address started the fundraiser, which is why we've reached out here. Regardless of the desire to receive the funds, we do need to verify the details associated with the fundraiser to ensure you are in compliance with GoFundMe's terms of service. With this in mind, can you please confirm when we could expect the request documentation and information from you?"
Well, the crazy thing is, like, you're emailing us from the account now, which means you have access to it.
Which is also Teckenbrock@gmail.com.
Yeah, and literally, it's like, we know you started it. Their system can see that. How dumb does she think people are?
Dumb, because she follows up and says, "The funds were not used. They stayed in the GoFundMe, and I do not have documentation. I do not use it. This was 4 years ago. No one uses it. No one for the funds."
What is it? First of all, that's bullshit. That has to be bullshit.
They think so too, because they say, "Please clarify whom we are speaking with."
Not them putting
Thank
it
you
all
for
in
confirming
bold.
you did not use the funds as stated in the fundraiser. However, the funds were withdrawn into the bank account
Oh
on
my
file,
God.
and donors intended for their donations to be used as stated in the fundraiser. Failure to do so may be considered a violation of GoFundMe's terms and service, and in some cases could be considered theft or a crime.
Shit.
With this in mind, we do need to understand why you did not use the funds as stated so we can work to rectify the situation. Thank you."
Hello, Linda.
She doesn't respond.
Why did they say Linda?
Because if you look back at the GoFundMe,
Is the organizer Linda? Oh, Linda Cormier. The fuck is that?
that is Andrew's mom.
Oh.
Her name. But, like, that's not who set it up,
Oh,
obviously. Like,
God.
Elizabeth set it up. They follow up and she just doesn't respond again. And then they do remove her account. So it's funny because later on, people are like, "Make a GoFundMe so we can help with your legal fees to get custody of your kids back." And she's like, "No, I'm not going to do a GoFundMe."
Oh my God.
Yeah, because she can't.
Shut up. During the cupcake thing, people were wanting to donate.
Yeah,
Wow.
which she did make her Venmo and Cash App available in her bio.
That's fucking crazy.
I am going to start baking to earn money, and then also I have my Cash App and Venmo linked in my bio, and I'm also created a YouTube channel. I'm not starting a GoFundMe, no.
But I'm pretty sure she's been kicked off Cash App. This is like a little out of order. I pulled this to the front because I feel like it's relevant.
I am absolutely terrible at dates and ages and times. It is all a mixed up jungle in my head of when things happened and what happened, and I'm trying every single day in my own life to sort those pieces out, because when you go through trauma and abuse, everything becomes this like big ball of yarn, and you're trying to unwind it every single day and it just doesn't happen.
You know what that also happens with? When you're lying.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that's like, oh, well, if I said something wrong, it's not because I'm lying. It's just because, like, my trauma. This is part of her series, which most of them are still up, but some of them she's deleted. And it's called Surviving Inventing Elizabeth. And these were in May of 2024, so a year ago. And it's her, like, finally telling her side of the story, because Andrew's been posting all the shit about all of the stuff she actually did do.
This page was started by my ex-husband 3 years ago when I chose to leave him. There's a little bit of controversy in what he says online, and that is he filed for divorce. That is actually true. I have always stated that. I left my house.
So even in that statement, she goes, I've never said that like I divorced him. But this was literally 6 days earlier.
I do not care to talk about him. I don't care to even give him 1 millisecond thought in my brain, which is why I divorced him. When we filed for divorce...
Interesting. So you've never said that?
I have always stated that I left my household.
I filed also a domestic violence injunction report, and I'm going to start sharing a little bit of proof on things that I haven't really ever shared before.
So this is interesting because she has filed to date, like as of now, 5 different domestic violence injunctions.
What is a domestic violence injunction?
Like, it's not trying to get him to face consequences for things that he's done, but it's like basically a restraining order to prevent things from happening
like what she
in the
wants to
future.
get against Chelsea. Like, she seems a little restraining order happy, maybe.
It's interesting because he filed for divorce February 10th, but she filed the first injunction January 19th. They had already decided they were going their separate ways in like December, and she had been cheating on him. And we have proof of her admitting that and stuff. Perfect. And then she like literally goes and moves in with a new guy like right after.
I have a 13-year-old son in which my ex-husband tried to abuse. I had been abused by him for our whole entire marriage, but whenever it is something that he starts to do to your children, you then have to leave. As a mom, staying in a situation where he was abusing me was much easier than when he attempted to try to abuse my 13-year-old. He said, if you sign these papers...
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, this was like a deleted video that she posted after like the whole cupcake thing kind of like blew up in her face. And I thought it was relevant.
Nothing will change on when you see them, and I will not ruin your life. I will leave you alone. And so I did. In a mentally bad state of abuse and wanting it to stop, he was never hurting them. I stand by that. Mentally, he's not doing great things to them in terms of the stuff he says, but he will never hurt them. He has never hurt them. He will never hurt them. So I
remember that.
And I was still seeing them always, even now.
For anyone that doesn't know it. So basically, he came out after the cupcake thing, was like, she doesn't even have custody. Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, technically I don't have custody because he basically forced me to sign this like parental agreement. And it was like me giving up custody. And that was like in exchange for him to not like harass her and abuse her. But like he claimed that nothing would change, which they did sign an agreement out of court, but it's a little like, okay, well, why would you sign that?
This is part of my very first domestic violence injunction against my ex-husband that has never been shared and that I have never shared online. I was approved a 2-week emergency injunction in which then my husband convinced me at the time to not go to court for.
Which is interesting because she waived her return hearing the exact same day that she filed it, even though she got approved. So she's saying like he convinced her not to go. In her written little thing in this injunction, it says, Andrew has been constantly harassing me. He has called me, texted me anywhere from 100 to 200 times a day, telling me if I don't answer, I will regret it. Andrew has called me bitch, yelling at me all hours of the night with my children there. He is not on the lease of my home and refuses to move out. She strategically didn't get him on the lease. That was like a whole other thing. Which, by the way, one of the things that we're not going to go into great detail, but like is a big part. She has been evicted like 4 times in the last few years. It's like ridiculous.
And has screwed over multiple landlords, like money-wise.
And roommates too. And has also defrauded the landlords to even get into the apartment to begin with, saying that she makes like $325,000 a year and she like doesn't have a job.
Interesting.
He's not on the lease of my home and refuses to move out. I have a 10-year-old son, at the time he was 10, who he grabbed by the neck and pushed to the ground while calling him an idiot. He threatens that if I leave him, he will take my children from me. He follows me around the house in every room harassing me. He has a previous injunction, which makes me scared because I'm worried for my safety and my children's safety. Interesting, because now you're saying he would never hurt them.
Yeah, no, none of this lines up.
I could not actually get him out though because you do have to file like an eviction on him to move because he had been living there, so I wasn't able to get him out. But he did refuse to leave in a house that he wasn't paying the bills and he was not on the lease there. I also state in this that for the very first time he had chosen to put his hands around my 13-year-old son's neck. That had been the final straw for me and when I was never ever going to. This was filed January.
I didn't cut that, by the way. That's like how her video is. She's saying that that was the final straw, but then he convinced her the same day to not go through with it.
It was filed January 19th of 2022.
Here's the kicker. That was January 19th. Well, on January 10th, her search history shows photos of physical abuse on ribs, woman. Then January 18th, so the day before she filed that, we have bruise filter Instagram.
Jesus.
Bruise app. And then also a website that is downloading an app where it's Scars, Bruises, Fake Injury Photo Editor.
Wow.
And it doesn't exist anymore, but I found it on Wayback Machine. Scare your friends with an amazing scary face prank. Get this fake wound app and add bruises to your face, fake bandage, fake scars, fake injury marks, and other scary face effects. And literally the next day is when she filed her
So she
injunction.
presumably used these fake photos to do so?
Well, here, now we can look also through these pictures that she has posted. This is in a TikTok where she has their wedding picture.
Wow.
And it says, I want you to know that this can also look like ... And then she shows pictures of her with bruises.
Oh my God.
Here's rib bruises, much like she was searching for.
And on her back too. Like that is a very interesting bruise.
Then we have another wedding photo. And this can also look like this, where she has an arm bruise. And then a face one, which like that doesn't really look like a bruise as much as like skin irritation.
Dude, if these search histories hadn't been outed.
Oh, this is what was the nail in the coffin. Like I was like, oh my God, the timing.
It's
it
so,
all lined
and I've
up.
always said it. I'm like, the reason why you always believe victims when they come forward is because people like Elizabeth are not common. Like this is so
no, it's rare.
Insane for a human being to do that my mind can't even comprehend somebody doing it. But like, I'm very glad for Andrew's sake and for, I mean, everybody that was a victim of her and her lies. Like, I'm really glad that these search histories came out because it's like definitive proof. And I think she should be criminally charged. But before we continue, we really quickly want to thank our next sponsor, and that's Cash App.
And if you're living under a rock and for some reason aren't familiar with Cash App, it is a safe, easy, and fast way to send, receive, and transfer money to family and friends.
It really doesn't get more convenient than Cash App. The setup literally takes like a minute.
Yeah, all you do is enter your phone and your email, and you don't even need a bank account.
Yeah, your money shows up right away. You can transfer it right away. So there's no waiting around for days. It's your money, and you shouldn't have to wait.
And Cash App also has your back for people like we're talking about in this episode, perhaps. If you're about to send money to a sketchy account, it actually has a scam warning that pops up. So that way you can feel more relaxed when you're sending people money.
And you can make like personalized payments. So when you're paying a friend, you can use custom text, stamps, backgrounds, you know, make it funny if you need to.
And in my opinion, the best part is that there is no waiting period or processing delay, and it goes instantly into your account.
And for a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash.
Literally, there's no catch. All you have to do is just download Cash App and sign up, use our exclusive referral code, DWKT10, and then send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you just get $10 magically dropped into your account.
Terms and conditions apply, and thank you so much to Cash App for being an amazing sponsor of this podcast.
Don't say we never gave you anything. Well, and that's even more proof when we look at these, because this was her TikTok. She showed these, and it shows January 30th, bruise on her thing. So that's after the January 18th was when she searched for those. Here's January 30th, January 15th. So that would have been after the 10th when she was searching for physical abuse on women ribs. Also, we have February 1st, her showing more bruises. February 24th, which is relevant because on February 24th, she searched fake bruise app, bruise filter Instagram, fake bruise app.
Wow.
The times all line up with her search history. It's very incriminating.
Yeah.
Then also just a little side quest that Todd Rice is one of the people that I guess she like scammed, and he doesn't consider her to have scammed him because she did eventually pay him back, but she scammed someone else to be able to pay him back.
Got it.
And also he's like in love with her and like comments on, like, I went to her Facebook. No one comments on any of her shit. He was on every single photo. He constantly is commenting on all of her stuff. He even recorded a video where he says,
"Oh, Todd, save yourself, buddy."
It's him basically saying, like, she didn't abuse me. And it's like, is someone holding a gun to your head?
Right.
What is going on? There's back and forth between him and Andrew. And he's like, you know, the loan was paid back in full. So I don't know why you keep posting stuff. Leave me alone. Quit tagging me and keep me out of your drama. Focus on your own life. And Andrew says, she scammed someone else to pay your lame ass back. I'll show proof of that. She has lots of support. Not lots, but like she has a solid group of supporters around her.
How is that even possible at this point? Like, how do you do anything like this and still have somebody support you?
Also, you know, she keeps saying like her main priority is like her children's safety.
Yeah.
Here was a post from, I want to say it was like October or something of this past year. She says, genuinely, I've been doing my best to keep my content just about me and being as happy as my children and I can be during this time. I woke up in the middle of the night to a ton of threats into this video, and it's a video of Andrew on live, like saying again that he's going to expose her more because I don't know what led to it. But she goes, I don't think anyone can understand the danger I'm truly in. And each day, all I'm trying to do is be as happy as I possibly can and be the best mom I can be. Please just stop. Please, I'm begging at this point. It is impossible for one human to live this way. I can only take so much. I've stopped sharing my story. I've stopped talking about him. I will be the bad guy. I do not care. I just want peace.
Yeah, you don't get that. You don't get that after what you've done.
Well, also, don't you think it's a little strange if she says no one can understand the danger she's in? Presumably also, her children are in danger too. She said she woke up to a ton of threats. Then why would the next video you post be of your daughter on camera?
She's so full of shit.
Literally the next one.
Question is, does she still have contact with any of her children? Does she have custody of any of them?
So she does have custody. I guess she has shared custody with this one from earlier during the photographer era. They share custody and they're like, okay. And based on some text that Andrew has posted with allegedly her current boyfriend right now, even, which doesn't make sense to me how they're still dating after reading this conversation that he had with Andrew that Andrew has posted, because he says that like, it seems like he's very much on board with she's crazy and he's basically using her for money, which she doesn't even have. In that conversation, they say that like the old fiance, I guess, is like okay with her lies and like doesn't care.
How are any of these people real?
I don't know. This is a document from the court after her third petition. And it says, this is the third petition for injunction filed by this petitioner against this respondent. This is the third time she has failed to appear.
Oh.
Which seems strange that he would convince you not to go through with it 3 times, but you were still willing to file it 2 more times after the first time he did that. So I don't know. Out of the 5, 3 of them were dismissed and 2 of them were denied. So the 3 that she didn't follow up with, I think, are just dismissed. But there's 2 that they heard both sides and just denied her injunction because she like didn't have enough evidence.
Extreme abuse with him, mental, physical, sexual. I did not ever feel like I wanted to hurt him at that time either. When you're so wrapped up in it, years go by, and even to this day, I have said this to everyone around me that has said I need to come forward with my story. I have always just hoped one day he will wake up and stop, and it never got to the point that I had to do things that would bring attention to him in a negative light or to the public, as well as to his career, in which he is a doctor, an eye doctor, and I thought at that time, like, I was always told if you go forward with this, you'll ruin the girl's future. I won't be able to provide for them or anything else because I'll be on a list of certain things.
That's already not true because she did, again, like these injunctions are just like restraining orders. It's not like he's going on a sex offender registry or something.
I will not be able to provide for them in the way. So when I left, that I felt like that was the best decision that I could have made at that time to protect every single person. With that first injunction, I chose not to go to court for the follow-up hearing, which means that I forfeited the right to get the permanent injunction. Boy, do I wish that that was not the case. But unfortunately, like I said, that was right whenever we were first separating and I was still in a serious form of mental control of him, and I would have done anything that he told me to do at that point, especially when he told me he will stop all of the harassment. I did never return back to him, and I never would, but I did listen to everything he said. When he filed for divorce, which was I think about a month later, again I don't remember the exact date, and that's something I didn't pull up, but I believe he filed for divorce a month later, which was after this, because I did not come back home to him. He filed for divorce and he had a lawyer. I did not. In the time that I did not have a lawyer, I think there's a perception that I was not fighting against him in court, and that is actually wrong. I went to court several times by myself, tried to fill out the paperwork alone. I tried to understand the paperwork alone. I tried to do all of those things by myself, and eventually a year later, I got so overwhelmed, and finally he came to me with an agreement in which he stated I would still see my daughters, everything would go in place of what it was before, but that I would sign this paper. And in retrospect, that sounds absolutely ridiculous, because why would I sign something that my abuser is telling me to, and why would I believe him? But when, number one, a year sounds far out from the time that you are getting abused, but when you need mental clarity and to not have this person under your control, a year is not that long, especially when actively every single day I was still dealing with it. Before I signed that agreement, I had emailed his attorney and asked would all of the abuse stop as well as the online harassment.
That is bullshit. I read through because she has a video where she goes, basically, this is her proof. This is how she's showing that she was forced to sign this parenting agreement under duress and that they were fully aware, like it was very crystal clear that she said she was being abused, sexually assaulted, and harassed. So it was like all three. And she says numerous times that that is the case.
Show a lot of emails from myself and my ex-husband's lawyer at the time of my divorce showing that I was abused, begging them to have him stop the abuse, and I will literally sign and do anything that he says. And so his lawyers knew I was signing my custody agreement to them based on distress and abuse and emotional abuse and financial abuse and a lot of things. And they still chose to allow me to sign it and go through with it in court. So they legally knew the things that I was going and made me promises to sign paperwork that I shouldn't have been signing, all under distress. And I'm going to show those and the proof now.
And she shows reverse receipts because she puts these fucking emails on the screen, and I read all of them, and she does not mention once anything about physical or sexual abuse at all.
This is me telling his attorneys that the original parenting plan I had signed whenever he promised to stop the abuse, that I actually changed my mind. I was not under good circumstances or mental health at that time, and he was not actually stopping any abuse whatsoever. He had continued to post horrific things about me on the internet as well as abuse me in person.
The entire thing is just super adamant that she wants him to stop posting on the TikTok account and she wants the account deleted.
Seems like abuse would not be something you forget in that situation.
And I will say, I do think he still is harassing her. I mean, I think he has a reason that he's doing it.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's excessive, it seems. I get that, but like the way she describes these emails and then the comments, I mean, she deletes bad comments, but they are all supportive. Like everyone's saying to report the lawyer to the bar.
Jesus.
And like all this stuff. They are word salad. And she also is harassing those lawyers. She's sending like 5 emails in a day being like, why haven't you answered? Why are you ignoring me? Blah, blah. And it's literally all the same. I do want to say,
I think Andrew has every right to tell his story of how she defrauded him. I think that the way that he's gone about it and the fact that unfortunately, and I'm not trying to be rude, like he's not very good at it. Like he's not good at editing or he's not good at storytelling. So it makes it really hard to digest. Like when you're just going to his page for the first time, had he maybe had a little bit of help in understanding what the best way to maybe tell that story would be, things would be very different. But it is easy to look at his page, which is what we did, and be like, this guy's obsessed with her a little bit. Like, this is a little crazy.
Exactly. And she uses that to her advantage, and she is good at telling a story, and she is good at getting people's attention. So she has all these people being like, he's a crazy Scientologist. He was abusing me our entire relationship. And then she has bruise pictures and stuff. And everyone's like, oh my God, he's a monster.
Yeah, really his only crime is like he's just really not charismatic and a little bit too dedicated to and I get it. He may have like a lot of anger towards her, like and the shit that she did to him. So what did she do to him financially? You mentioned financials.
Yes. So his house was foreclosed on because she like took over paying the mortgage. I don't think it was like necessarily with her money, but it was like she was supposed to be paying.
No, it's very common in a marriage, for one person to do it.
And she just like didn't pay, and the house got foreclosed on. They had to move like 3 times in like 2 years or something. There was something with like renting equipment or something for his office, and she like fucked that up too. And I'm pretty sure that was with one of the law offices that she like pretended to be. If you go to his record, and I think I even brought this up when we were covering it the last time, because it was like she had check fraud, blah, blah, because she has like a mugshot and like was literally arrested and like charged with a felony. I think she ended up getting it like lowered or something. But I then went to his thing and I was like, well, I mean, he's been evicted several times and he has a bunch of financial crimes, but they are because, and he shows proof in his series that he's been doing, where it's like she fucked him over completely.
So he got criminal charges because of her?
I don't know if you call them criminal charges. It's like credit card loans, or like she used his name to sign a lease that she couldn't afford.
Oh my God. You know what? I really don't want to speak this into existence, but she seems like the type of person that would steal her child's like information and ruin their life.
Oh, literally. The craziest is that there's 2 elderly men that she has scammed. Like one of them out of like $1 million.
Oh my God.
And that was one of the other times she faked cancer because she told him it was for cancer treatments.
Dude, how the fuck is she not in jail?
Well, that's the thing, is she did get arrested. I don't think it was for that one, but there's body cam footage of him going into the police station and talking to them and reporting all of it.
Shut up. Seriously?
Yeah.
How much money is taken out of and how long?
Over the past, since the beginning of May.
May of this year.
Of this year.
Okay. And how much has been taken out?
It's on the neighborhood of 400 to 500,000.
500,000. Wow. Okay. Does your
She was claiming it was for medical expenses.
who is she?
Elizabeth Teckenbrock. And I would receive texts saying I need money for the medical expenses this week, and I need money for this. And oh, by the way, the doctors are making me go out of town for treatment or see an expert in this city or that city, and that sort of
That's
thing.
when you gave her money.
And I gave her money so she could pursue the defense that she was getting treatment for the alleged stage 4 lymphoma. That when I first heard about it, she was going to be given at most 6 weeks to live.
Okay.
And that was in May.
Okay.
And now we're in September.
Okay.
And although she supposedly has had treatment, she supposedly had a collapsed lung in there. All of these things have just been cascading over the course of time.
And
now, she promised to pay me back. But there are payments here that are, things were happening to my accounts that I had no idea about.
Okay.
I just knew that money was disappearing.
Because then he didn't even realize he was being scammed. And his son, we actually did briefly touch on this the first time, but we didn't believe it because it was just like seemed absurd. But it was on that website and it showed an email from the guy's son, supposedly. And it's someone saying, "Good afternoon. Recently, it has been made aware to me that my elderly father has been the victim of fraud. This fraud constitutes the theft of nearly $1 million. We have opened official complaints with TPD and the FBI and cut off all financial resources for Elizabeth Teckenbrock. Miss Teckenbrock was in custody for the case number referenced in this email subject line, and bail was posted by my father." So
oh my God.
For the check fraud that she had been arrested for, she got him to bail her out for that too.
Jesus.
"I'm currently in possession of bank records showing that she had purchased plane tickets and a hotel room in Charleston, South Carolina for Friday, September 22nd with a stolen credit card. I am not sure of the conditions of her bail, but I wanted you to be aware that if she was not to leave the state, she certainly did."
Dude, I would be so fucking furious if I found out someone did that to my elderly father.
Yep.
You wicked witch. Even beyond just being an evil person or having some sort of condition, I'll even give her that grace. Maybe she has something going on that causes her to lie.
She claims
so
she has
disgustingly.
bipolar disorder, BPD, borderline personality disorder, OCD, and ADHD.
I don't even think if you add up one more thing with the D in it that would make any of this make sense.
I
But
know.
yeah, no, I'm sure she has some sort of mental disorder. Not an excuse. That's just realistically, that's probably the source of some of this.
Realistically, she doesn't even have those, and it's probably narcissistic personality disorder,
Okay,
and like
literally,
she's a
though.
sociopath.
No, literally.
Because like this is insane.
Yeah, no, I just can't fathom, even besides all of that, what the source of it is, just like any of that. I just can't imagine what life she must live from day to day. Not that I care about her at this point, but you know what I mean? Like, what a miserable existence.
Well, and the gaslighting she does, and also she's had a few pivots with her social media stuff, but she's always trying to like give advice and like speaking from experience as if she is like this healed person. Oh, because that's even more recently.
Oh, yeah.
She decided she was going to post, it was like that trend where it's like, I just needed a hug or whatever.
Yeah, but I did this instead.
Yeah, she shows herself like crying in the mirror in the bathroom. Plot twist, that footage was used in another TikTok from like a month earlier. Then she shows footage of her at the airport and says that she's going to an in-treatment facility.
And did she go to that in-treatment facility?
Well,
Lily?
even Chelsea, I remember being like, that's the airport. And also, like, that's not even like where she was waiting didn't make sense in the airport. But also, why would she be leaving Florida if she like doesn't have any money? And like, why would she leave the state to go to an in-treatment place? Doesn't make sense. But then she disappears for a little bit. She goes private for a little bit because I was not following her and I lost access for a little bit while I was researching. I was like, what the fuck, Elizabeth? I follow her now, so it's not a problem. She basically says that she went to a 25-day outpatient treatment. So she admits to not doing in-treatment or inpatient. And she returns and posts this. It says, "New beginnings." And it says for the caption, "Life has looked different lately. It's been hard. Facing the pain you've caused others and yourself has been a hard pill to swallow, but one that has been needed for a long time. I ran from my problems, my wrongdoings, and my pain. I filled my life with material things, attention, and chaos. I opened a door a month ago to a place that I was terrified of, a place I didn't think would do any good for me. I didn't know who I was. I knew who I wanted to be. I knew who I thought I was, but I wasn't any of the things I projected myself to be. I closed a door that I need to save my life. I have so much more healing and work to do. I hope that one day you'll forgive me. I miss you and I love you all. I promise I'm trying. So this is like her pretending that she's taking accountability.
Right.
And she also had put out a video saying that basically everything Andrew says is true.
Yeah, and she also, I remember specifically, there was one video on a treadmill where she said, I don't owe you guys anything, like an explanation.
Yeah, I have that one.
I'm like, there's a few people you owe an explanation to. I don't know.
A lot of you that are wanting a lot of answers from me right now, and I'm going to say some things you probably won't want to hear. The first thing is that I actually don't owe any of you anything. I started this app to hold myself accountable, to start my daily routine, to get up, to be the person that I wanted to be, and I knew that I needed to document that to be it. And that's hard maybe for some of you to believe or even to understand, but that is the reality. Unfortunately, this space started to turn negative for me.
And wonder why.
With that being said, I'm going to get into some things that I think that you want to hear, but aren't going to be the answers that you're hoping for. As a person, I have probably never in my life taken accountability for one single thing.
Oh, really?
I am like a wrecking ball. I pretty much ruin all lives around me. And all of that has to do with my own mental health. And to be honest, I blamed everything on that for so long until I realized that just because I was born with it doesn't mean that I need to carry it with me forever. I am actually the only person who can decide to make the change. And I have been doing that. But I also want to make something very clear. Asking someone to grow where there is a situation weighing them down every single day because the other party does not want them to grow or does not want them to become a better person is nearly impossible. Every day I wake up trying to fight to be a better version of myself for my kids, because that's really the only thing that matters. But I have craved this love and acceptance from everyone for a very long time, probably since as long as I can ever remember. I would do anything to get it. And that has put me in a lot of bad situations I have put myself in.
Like what?
I have lied for absolutely no reason in my life other than to get acceptance in a situation where I never even needed to, but that was how my brain was conditioned.
Okay.
And as an adult,
no one conditioned you to fake
responsibility
cancer.
that I'm not a kid anymore, and I am in charge of fixing myself so that I don't continue the cycle with my own children. I have made a lot of really terrible mistakes, and I have hurt a lot of people, and to those people, I do owe explanation and I do owe apology. But I do not owe it to you on the internet. And if that means that you don't like me or you don't want to be here in my space,
I'm gonna guess that she hasn't.
But one thing I will
apologize
not
to
allow
those people, though,
is that there is an assumption that two things can't be true at once. That I did awful things and I became an awful person, but also that I deserved abuse because
there was no abuse, Elizabeth.
I was gonna say, that's the thing. It's like she is really playing that card and she's still trying to make people feel bad for her. And it's like, there wasn't abuse. You made that up because you're a horrible person.
And thank God we have the fucking Google searches, because otherwise we would be giving you grace right now. We would say that, yeah, okay, you don't deserve to be abused, but you weren't fucking abused. You actually abused many people. Mentally, financially, I mean, what the fuck?
Which makes it even more disgusting that our girl just last year, while all of that was happening, the cupcake thing, she had launched a 501c3, quote, non-for-profit.
Isn't it a non-profit?
Yeah, it is. But
Classic
guess who didn't
Elizabeth.
file for a 501c3? And this whole business was a fucking scam. She starts this quote-unquote charity.
When she
that
starts
is
getting
not registered
compassion
anywhere.
for people thinking she's being abused by Andrew.
Exactly.
So she
and
wants
it's
to ride
called
that
Fear
wave.
to Fierce, which, by the way, already taken. That's like an existing brand somewhere else. But on her website for it, which she paid to have someone design, there's a ton of stuff. She had social media handles. She had a bunch of content. It says copyright 2024 by Fear to Fierce Foundation, all rights reserved. Fear to Fierce is a 501c3 non-for-profit organization. Tampa, Florida. No, it is not, because non-for-profit is not a thing. The website currently right now says it's on hold because people called her out because she was accepting donations and scamming people.
Jesus Christ. She'll never stop.
It was insane. She had an event. You're going to love this. It was called Tangled Tales Gala, a Bridgerton affair.
Oh, period. How was it?
She had an event that was scheduled for August 17th. And I remember this all came up. Oh, yeah. It all came up right after we had covered her. I think we maybe covered her like a month or two earlier. I was still kind of looking into it at the time, but then it just like was getting messy and I didn't know for sure because also like
the search
there could be
history
delays
stuff
on the
hadn't come out.
paperwork for 5. Yeah. But even like her Facebook page for this is still active. The description is a community dedicated to empowering women who have suffered from domestic violence, offering like no punctuation as usual, offering a safe space for women to share their stories and to gain necessary tools, resources, and support to move forward in their lives.
Dude, these are the type of people that she'll never stop. Whatever little sympathy she can get, she's gonna scam people.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And that's why Andrew says that he's still doing it because it's like she's still scamming
I get
people.
It. You know, I do get it.
Yeah. And he has finally gotten a lot of traction with his new series.
Right.
But even then, it's like he only has 20,000 followers.
Yeah.
Like she has hundreds of thousands and people are still supporting her. We'll just quickly go over some of this, like the Bridgerton affair thing that she claimed was happening. She like tagged a location. Guess what? People called the location, never scheduled.
Oh, so the event never happened?
No, it didn't.
Oh my God.
Canceled.
Okay.
Well, first of all, there's a comment where she is saying it's a real company. It's not registered with the IRS and the paperwork for the 501c is submitted. C3. It was registered in April. This is when things get really serious with him because he knew when my video went viral, he knew I had a voice now. And I was starting this, I'm telling you, it's a problem. Starting this nonprofit, he was scared. So he needed to stop my voice.
Yeah, no, this is all insane. She's just someone that will never stop. Like genuinely.
Exactly.
I don't think that there is redemption for someone that regardless, like even when they're quote unquote addressing the problem, they're still lying.
She never actually addresses them.
No, and even in the one that, like, you could say that, like, maybe 80% of that video where she says she doesn't owe anyone an excuse, that she was being honest. You know what I mean? That I blow up everything in my life, I fuck up, I'm whatever. But then she still goes on about the abuse.
Well, and also, the ticket prices. She was trying to sell these for an event that was not planned. It had no intention, I don't think, of actually having. $6,000 for one sponsorship. Then we have $2,500, $550, $150. I don't think anyone bought those. But people did just donate to the website. And there's one person, it'll take too long to watch all the videos, but she basically had donated, I think it was like $50. But then like Elizabeth then had her info and it like did a recurring charge or something. And then it like put her in the negative and she like almost couldn't sign a lease. It was something like it really fucked up her life. And I guess actually Andrew ended up paying her back.
I posted this once before and I was doxxed and harassed with my address sent to my abuser. Thinking it's time that I need to come forward yet again. When Elizabeth first went viral, she was advertising a nonprofit organization called Fear to Fierce. During this time, I was just leaving a relationship in which I had experienced abuse and was becoming a single mother for the first time. While there was talk that the nonprofit was fake, she assured everybody in the comments that no, she did have a 501c3 status is what I think it's called. And the whole website seemed legit. Plus she was discussing an event and everything like that. So I had decided to donate to the page. I donated a very minuscule amount and then I sent her basically my story and why I was donating. Then it came out that the event was never organized, so I started doing some digging and I made some phone calls and I called Armature Works, which was the place where the event was supposed to take place, and they had said that they had never heard of her. I called, I want to say it was Sunbiz to discuss the status of the nonprofit. They said that there was never anything filed and she was not in the system at all. I called, I want to say the IRS. I looked on a website to see what the status was and couldn't find it anywhere. So I had sent another email just asking for my money back because there was no status to use on my tax refunds later. So I had sent an email out concerning this, only to find out that I had been blocked. Shortly after that, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 days afterwards, $153 was removed from my account, claiming to be a recurring charge from TicketLeap, which she had turned on without my authorization. So basically I donated $10, and then a couple of days later when she started to shut everything down and she was starting to get called out, a recurring charge hit my account and took $150 out. At this point, I was trying to reach out and be like, hey, what's going on? But she blocked me on everything. So I was pissed because that put me in the negative, which made it to where the check that I was depositing in my bank to rent a new place would not clear for 9 days because there wasn't enough money in the account to make sure that it cleared. So basically, I was at risk, me and my children were at risk of being homeless because she took this unauthorized charge. Again, I reached out, I tried to do all that, but she had blocked me. At one point, I did make a video. I was pissed. I was angry because she blocked me instead of discussing the matters with me. After I had called Tampa PD and the IRS and the FBI and submitted all of my information, I was able to get the money back and my bank account was credited through my bank. However, I did have to submit a report with the IRS, I think, is who I submitted the report with. That investigation is still ongoing as far as I know. I think it's still open. You can look it up. I don't know if other people had this happen or what, but like I said, she blocked me, and then I made my video where I was noticeably angry. I was cussing and I was all of that. And on that video, I had a massive wave of her followers saying that I was lying for Andrew, that I was just another pick-me girl for Andrew, that everything was blamed on Andrew. Everything was him. He was behind everything. What happened to me was because I was on his side, apparently, but I wasn't. I was on his side after I got scammed, but I am a completely different, I don't know him. I live in Minnesota. I will say, though, that Andrew did pay me back the money that she stole. Even though I got my money back, he donated $100 to my GoFundMe when I was rushing to find money to be able to move into a new house. He actually did more than she did. She blocked me. She sent her followers out after me by naming me in the comments. Her followers then found my address and my ex, because my address is listed under my ex's name too, sent my ex, who currently has an RO on him against me and is not allowed to know where I live. They sent my ex my address. I'm terrified to make this video right now, but it has to be done because when you're scammed by someone, yes, you look into all of the other stuff, and I've looked into all of the other stuff. And one, having other people come to me and tell me, hey, I think she stole your story, because it's the exact same story that I sent her in my email. Having that happen, and you look at everything. You look at all of the information, and it points to her lying. Even her proof that she shows herself. If you don't take it listening to the words she says, it's a completely different story. She's a scam artist. She used domestic violence to get money with a fake nonprofit. There are other victims. We're just too scared to talk out.
Also, I don't have proof of this, but I've seen it floating around a lot, and I believe it, that she was taking people's abuse stories that were getting involved with this fake charity, and then she was like stealing their stories.
Well, that makes sense. That's what she did with the cancer.
Exactly. Some rapid fire. She's pretended to be a bank and emailed
Love
Andrew.
that. Bet there's a lot of spelling treasures in there.
Here's the Todd Rice thing, where someone posted it, said, "Free Todd, was there a cue card in here?"
Hi, my name is Todd. I'm the person that supposedly got scammed by Elizabeth, but I did not.
This shows an email where Todd is requesting $4,900.
Wait, requesting?
Of a chargeback.
Oh, to get it back. Okay.
Basically, when everyone really turned on her again, is she went to Hawaii with her now boyfriend, Sam, and I guess she left her dogs in an Airbnb and just like left them there.
What?
And they were like locked in a room. So then she was getting served because she's also, fun fact, getting sued right now because she launched a podcast and she had a podcasting producer. I think they did 12 episodes. They're all deleted now. It's just her talking for like an hour at a time. Also about her abuse, of course. She basically didn't pay this producer any of the money that she was supposed to, that she like contractually was obligated to. So he's suing her. But to serve her with that lawsuit, the process servers go to this Airbnb, I guess, to find her, and the police end up going in and finding dog feces everywhere because she just like left these dogs.
She's a fucking
So then people
monster.
lost their shit because they're dogs, obviously.
Yeah.
Then meanwhile, this bitch who owes this podcast producer money, she's still almost $30,000 back on child support that hasn't paid Andrew. God knows how many other people she owes money to. She spends $10,000 to go to Hawaii with her boyfriend.
Love that. Priorities.
She defrauded a travel company.
To go to Hawaii?
No, this was earlier on, because even before like she filed the domestic violence injunction or they got divorced, she was in a like serious relationship. She had been cheating on him and admitted to being like seeing this guy, Dave. There's been a lot of guys, so I can't really keep track of who is who, but I'm pretty sure this is the one that she lived with, and she has a TikTok account that she creates, and they only post for like a week, but it's called Tampa Bay BAE Guide.
I didn't know I could love something this much until I laid my eyes on
And it's like her posting like couples content.
Long hair star, thick in the hips come.
Oh, God.
And she talks in one of them about how they like go get his tires rotated or something on his Aston Martin. So like definitely using him for money. The narrative from Andrew has been like, she's been choosing these men that she's dating over her kids.
Right.
So like she's just spending all of her free time with these guys and doesn't want anything to do with her kids. But then on TikTok is like, I want to be the best mom I can be. Honestly, I could go on for so much longer. There's a whole thing with her friend Rachel that she was good friends with during all of this, who supported her during like when people were still shitting on her.
Oh, is that the lawyer?
Yeah. And she like basically is saying like, I knew that she did bad stuff, but I thought she was trying to change. And then she finds out, like, plot twist, she actually stole money from her. And
oh my God.
Then now, most recently, and this was like even like this past week, is saying that Rachel is like a stalker because they were at the same bar, and she's like saying all this shit about her, but then she like deletes it right after, and they have this whole other drama going on between them.
My God, it seems like literally everything she touches turns to shit. And because she makes it turn to shit, not because it had to turn to shit.
Well, and also, I think we've talked about this off camera. I don't know if we mentioned it during the last episode or if it had happened yet, but Mama Tot has been one of her most vocal supporters.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And like has really like not even just supported her, denounced Andrew, basically said he's full shit, has now, even though a bunch of stuff has come out and it's very clear that she lied about stuff that she said she didn't, has not denounced her at all, has not said like,
well,
she
you know what
doesn't
Mama Tot
support
does
her.
when situations like this come out and like it's obvious that something she was a part of turns really sour. Like, I think she addressed the Dr. Kenny thing to a certain extent, but usually she just like backs away. You know what I mean? Just like stops talking about it and hopes it goes away, but it doesn't. You have to, especially like no matter when this was going to be prepared, like we knew we had to do the deep dive on her because it's like, I mean, we didn't endorse her like, oh my gosh, she slays and never lies, but like we had sympathy for her. And maybe we were the reason some other people had sympathy for her. So like you have to
totally, and
take it
that
back.
we believed what she was saying about Andrew, which, oh, actually, that's what we can even end on. I hate to say it's not scratching the surface, but literally there's so much more. But this is a voicemail that Andrew posted, and I did think it was weird because he posted it for like paid subscriptions only. He basically, I guess his reasoning is that he like thought people would twist it anyway, but I thought it was interesting that he put it behind a paywall because of what she says. It's a voicemail that eLIESabeth left him. It was like during the whole like I'm getting treatment and like I'm taking accountability thing. And it was like basically her rock bottom, and it seems like this was one of the calls that she made.
I did not answer. I did not call back. But this is some of the tactics that she uses.
It's Elizabeth. You have me blocked, obviously. I'm not really even sure what to say other than I'm sorry. I know that you know that when I'm sorry, typically I'm at rock bottom mentally, but I've been at rock bottom for quite some time now. I'm going to make a video telling the internet that you have not physically abused me and really whatever else you'd like me to clear up. So if you could please give me a call on my cell phone so that we can have a conversation about how you want me to do it. I don't want it to be harmful to you, and I'm not asking you to stop your series. You can continue that. This isn't about manipulation. It's just about needing to get help so I can be a mom. So please call me back.
And keep in mind, after this voicemail was Ultra last weekend in Miami. So she left this voicemail and then went to Ultra.
Well, and didn't she walk this back? She in post was like, well, I only said that because like I knew that's what he needed to hear, basically.
He posted a voicemail, I guess, that I said that I will get on the internet and say that he never abused me or sexually assaulted me. I did leave that voicemail. I also said on that voicemail, please let me see them. I will do and say anything. I will say anything you want me to. If it's you want me to tell the internet and you never hurt me, I will say it. But of course, I knew he would probably end up sharing that voicemail, and the chances are that I got to see them slim to none. But I tried, and just like I always try, I have always tried and will always try until I can manage to do it on my own with help, you know?
She never will commit fully to the apology, and she has apologized more than once.
I want to give a public apology to my ex-husband. And although I know a lot of you won't agree with that, and you will also say, don't let him win. This isn't about winning or losing anymore. I started this app to bring joy and happiness to my life. It was something that I look forward to every single day. I loved posting. I loved doing my daily routine. My daily routine is crucified now. It is dissected and pulled apart. And I know that comes with having social media and things like that.
And being
I
a
get
liar.
All of that. But this has become so nasty. And part of that is because I allowed it. I got on the internet and I shared private and personal details and things to defend myself against someone who hates me more than they love their children. And I don't hate him more than I love my children. So I am sorry. I'm sorry that I let it go this far.
Oh my God, shut up. I'm so over it. Like,
So you're apologizing, but then like shitting on him at the same time.
It's just ridiculous. She's just shameless. I think that if anybody sees all of this, I mean, just one of the categories, forget about lying about abuse, even just the cancer thing is so egregious what she did. I would just have to assume that anybody who's supporting her just literally doesn't know, or like doesn't know the extent of it, kind of similar to when we gave her sympathy.
Well, and even I told you, like with the emails to his lawyers, she flat out says, she's like, this is proof that I did this. And I read all of the emails and it's not the proof she says it is, but the comments are all positive.
Yeah.
And they're like, report them to the bar. How dare they? Did they not have souls? Like, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you didn't read it then. Now she's pivoted and does a bunch of mental health posts as if she is someone that should be at all. Like, she's not giving advice. She's just sharing her experience. But it's like literally her constantly showing all of her meds. Like,
yeah, if she had really worked through what she has actually done, that couldn't be done in a month, 2 months, 3 months. Girl, this is a lifelong battle you got.
That she says that it was a 25-day treatment.
That's bullshit. Like, that cannot possibly.
Well, it's also bullshit because if you look at the Tampa Bay Treatment Center where she shows herself going, it says for outpatient, because she didn't do inpatient. First of all, when she posted, 25 days was the maximum in between when she said she was going and when she said that she did a 25-day treatment. So it was that she had to have been going every single day, including weekends, which, plot twist, they're not open on Sundays. Also, they do a minimum of 30 days for their outpatient treatments. It says on the
Shocker,
website.
she lied.
So it's like, wow, weird.
Ridiculous.
She just couldn't stay away from TikTok for any longer. This was the same time as the treadmill one, but I'm pretty sure she deleted this.
It always ends up that way. And regardless, it doesn't matter. I've done it. And it is a cycle that I do time and time again. I'm sorry for people that I have hurt. And I also will say most, not all, but most of what my ex-husband has put on the line online is true. Things I have done, things I have said. My story is still true. But
what does that even mean?
But I have done really awful things. And for that, I'm sorry.
Oh, God. Like, she continues on with the abuse lie.
And I wish someone knew. I wish I could explain in my head out loud how much I want to be normal, you know?
I can't.
And to not struggle mentally. To anyone who has put out their own voice to support me.
because I don't always deserve it. So.
No, you don't deserve it. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, even when she goes to apologize, and even when she goes to say that most of what Andrew's saying is true, then she still has to throw in, but that doesn't mean my story's not true. Are you speaking about the abuse? Because that's not true.
But yeah, we've been filming for way too long, and literally we could go on for 5 more hours. So if you guys want a part 2, part 1.5, we could cover more in a future episode. But honestly, I feel like the moral of the story is that she is a con artist.
Yeah.
She cannot stop lying. Even when she says that she's taking accountability for her lies and for her scams, she's manipulating people more to try and like be able to survive and still be able to have her following and not have everyone hate her.
And the more sympathy that she gets, the more dangerous she is to people. Like, because that is what she uses.
You can tell the pattern of how she, like, I take accountability, blah, blah. And she kind of like gets really like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, basically. I just can't control myself. But then she gets kind of cocky again and she'll start posting a bunch of like the haters. And like she posts this weird like court story time where she's like, how funny is this? I went to the court to file something for the family court and they were like, actually, you're in the criminal court. But it's like, that's the only one I know. Like, that's the kind of vibe that she's giving off. And it's like,
she doesn't
maybe
deserve a
go to
following.
actual treatment and get help. And if you were really getting help, you would get off the internet because that's the one thing she refuses to do.
Yeah, and that's the one thing she actually needs to do. And every time she privates herself or disables her account or whatever, she's back in a few days. She can't help it.
Yeah.
She thrives off the attention. So don't give it to her, if you want my opinion. I don't think she needs a following. I think any following or, again, sympathy, grace that she's given, she weaponizes
It
to
just
scam people.
enables her to do it more.
Yeah. And, you know, all things considered, everybody, I mean, in this story, you know, Andrew included, like, I feel horrible for her. I'm sorry if, you know, on our part, we had anything to do with people feeling like you were a problem. You know, unfortunately, when you believe all victims, there are going to be people who take advantage of that for whatever reason, and it's
she
disgusting.
Just did so in, like, she got us.
I know. And it's really frustrating, but, you know, hopefully this can just do our part in, like, setting the record straight on all the information that's come out. And again, we didn't show everything because it's impossible to in one episode, but, like, obviously she's an issue. And, like, I take back anything I ever said that was endorsing her in any way. Take it back 100%.
100%. And also, like, as I said, if you guys want us to cover more, there is more to cover. And that's stuff that is public online.
Right.
There's way more stuff that people don't know about.
Right.
And even specifically in Chelsea and Sherrilyn's podcast, they're interviewing people that, like, those scams haven't been publicized.
Yeah.
And, like, they found out because Chelsea lives in Tampa. Apparently it gets pretty wild. So we'll link their podcast below. Go watch it.
Well, don't watch it. You listen to it. It's only audio.
Listen. Sorry, it's a podcast. Yes. And also here's like a little teaser if you want a taste of what they're going to be doing. But it's mostly like interviews with people that have been scammed by her.
It was as if Scamanda and Inventing Hannah popped out a child, and you have Elizabeth.
When you first meet her, she's so nice.
She tells me she's like an ophthalmologist, owns multiple ophthalmology centers.
She had the son and a daughter.
Her ex-husband, he was the abuser.
At the time, we just believed this woman that she was this victim of domestic abuse.
Andrew is an amazing guy. I don't think that anything that Elizabeth had said about domestic violence fit the scope of Andrew.
I'm gonna make a video telling the internet that you have not physically abused me.
She told me she wanted to start the nonprofit for domestic violence.
She's like, please invite your friends. We need to get donations.
So then all of a sudden, once this nonprofit happened, she started getting her nails done, her hair done.
I just remember waking up one day and the Facebook page was gone.
When she said she had cancer, this took the family by complete and total shock.
She showed us made up proof of that.
Fake phone numbers, fake email addresses.
I really did think that she was dead.
She goes, I never had cancer. I faked having cancer.
She was victimizing herself on purpose to get sympathy by doing this crap.
She would sleep with men for money, and it was like, what the hell are you doing? She's just an all-around bad person.
Unable to be trusted.
This girl is evil.
Well, anyway, shall we do a We Love the Internet and get out of here? We've been here for 15 hours.
I suppose.
Okay, got kind of a wild card for you.
Oh, God. Okay.
This just popped up on my For You page last night, and I giggled. I don't know.
This is the position you should be able to be in without stinking up the world. If you can't squat like this without putrefying the world, then you're something sort of on the lines of not clean. You're gonna want to get deep into the cat and clean out the crevices so that when you squat down like this and the wind is blowing east and west, you're not stinking up the century. You don't want to stink up the east. You don't want to stink up the west, the north, or the south. Clean your cat so you can squat like this with confidence.
Why is she still going?
You're not gonna want to stink it up,
just makes eye
especially
contact
if
the
you
entire
bounce
bounce.
and things begin to stink. Oh, this is a serious problem. You should be able to bounce like this, something of the sorts, nothing else of such, and nothing come out of the cat and stink up the world. God is watching, ladies. Make sure that when you're down here, it's not smelling. When you're on the dance floor and you want to move it around town, it's not stinking. These are important things we must take measures in, ladies. Make sure that the cat is in check before you do anything of the such.
Not the
Thank you.
PSA.
Something of the sorts, nothing else of the such. I loved loved that sentence.
Oh my God.
Putrefying the world.
Wow.
It was just quite the doozy. Wash your cat, ladies. Get in the crevices. God is watching.
Oh my God. I feel like I've seen these dogs before. I don't really understand what's going on here, but it's great.
Hey, why does he keep getting chosen? Oh my God, I'm so dead. My dog would never accept this.
I know.
Ever. Oh my God, they all have little wings. Oh my God, how? They're so
the ones I've seen before, it's this where they're giving treats. So it's like he is doing it to stop it because he like caught on to like, oh, it stops and then we get the treat.
But then he added scarves and
yes, correct. Yes. And they're just so like patient. They're just like, okay.
How does one get their dog to participate in these shenanigans?
I
Because
don't
it just
know.
would not
Max
happen
would
for me.
never. I guess actually Max has worn hats and been pretty
But it's gotta be like an
cooperative,
event,
but-
and especially if there's food involved, like he's not gonna just leave a wig
Yeah,
on
no, if
while
there's food, absolutely not.
I mean, come
No.
on.
But with the fucking bandana, I couldn't.
Well, anyway, Lily, thank you for your services. You soldiered on through these treacherous territories to deliver us the story that we needed to cover.
If I never hear the name Elizabeth Teckenbrock again, it will be too soon. Unless you guys want a part 2, up to you.
You know, she will take one for the team. But anyway, if you guys made it through to the end, thank you very much. We know this was a long one. Lily, thank you again. And as always, we hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you on Friday. Bye.
Cheers.